A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Crime and Peter Chambers. Created by Henry Kane, transcribed and starring Dane Clark. A private investigator, duly licensed and duly sworn, Peter Chambers.
You're a private eye. That's your business. Anything else? That's for laughs. You've got a slant of sun coming in the office window, your feet are on the desk, and you're relaxed. Business is lousy, but you've got no kicks. You're young, you're strong, you've got a few bucks in the bank. And it's a beautiful day.
You, Peter Chambers?
All of me, lady. Beautiful day, isn't it?
Not for you. Not for long, anyway.
She's a cute little trick, but nervous as a puppy with fleas. She's wearing a tan suit, molded to her figure, and properly protruding. Her dress is in perfect taste. Black nylon, black shoes, black blouse, and black gloves. So she spoils it. She dips into her bag, and what she produces doesn't quite go with the ensemble. Because now she's wearing a pearl-handled gun in her right fist. Looks like a .38. And is pointing directly at you. So you scrape back out of your chair and you go to her.
Stand back. Stand back, I tell you.
Honey, you're not even holding the gun right.
I know what I'm doing. Keep away from me.
You're shaking like you're practicing to be a cooch dancer. Now, relax, little lady.
Keep away, please.
Okay, now. I've got the gun. And you're still shaking. Now sit down, lady. What's your name?
Corey.
What do you do?
Do?
For a living. A gun moll, you ain't.
I'm an actress.
Working?
Yes.
Oh, come on, sister. This is like pulling teeth. Let's have it all in one lump.
I have the second lead in the Lady Dancers. It's in rehearsal. It's my first real job. It's produced by Jack Burke. He hired me. Anything else?
Where do you live?
1013 East 39th Street, 2B. Oh, please don't point that gun at me.
It's your gun, remember? Okay. I drop it in my jacket pocket like so. See? No more gun. Now, what's this jiggle all about?
Jiggle?
Look, it's a beautiful day. I'm sitting around with my feet on the desk dreaming my own personal little dreams. So a dame drops in, wriggling around a Roscoe, and the Roscoe is blinking its eye at me, so I got a right to ask. What's it all about?
Well, I can't...
Oh, that's coherent. Now, let's do it incoherent this time.
I came here to kill you.
Why?
I was sent.
By whom?
Bruce Burke.
Bruce Burke, huh? Well, it's all in the family. Jack Burke, Bruce Burke, two lonely brothers. Well, I never met your producer, but Bruce. Brucey boy, I know.
I'm sorry. I'm dreadfully sorry. Believe me, I don't think I could have. I couldn't. I know I couldn't.
All right, Elsa. Elsa Corey, simmer down. Just make yourself at home. I'll be back.
Where are you going?
To pay a call on Brucey boy. Maybe you can fill me in where you can't. And don't go away, baby. Pop will be back. Bruce Burke. A crumb right out of the bread box. A bum with a couple of $1 million. A sharpshooter that owns a nightclub called The Flame. You put the light out on the Flame about a year ago, hooked him for watering his stock. So, it's a beautiful day, only for you, suddenly, it's beginning to shape up cloudy. You get to his Park Avenue address, stick your finger on the buzzer. Nobody's home. Well, you've been there before, a 12-room suite for Brucey and his missus. Plus, she's got an apartment on the side. And just for kicks, you try the knob, and very conveniently, the door's not locked. You're inside, but you don't go far. Bruce Burke is napping, face down. Only when you go to turn him over, Brucey boy's napping days are finished. The guy's stiff as a bugle, 2 bullet holes in his face, and his rigid leer is like a spiteful grin. And suddenly you feel it. Call it extrasensory perception. You know you've been yanked into a deal that you ought to get out of. Fast. You do a beeline for the door, you pull it open, and you're face to face with Detective Lieutenant Louis Parker, New York City Police, homicide.
Hi, Pete. Fancy, as they say, meeting you here.
Hi, Lieutenant. Same fancy goes for me. What brings you?
Jingle on the phone, what they call anonymous.
Oh, I see. Well, come in.
Thanks for the welcome, Shamus. Hey, what do we got here?
Corpse. Body used to belong to Bruce Burke. Plus.
Plus what, kid?
Plus, I've got a hunch, a little frame job with me in the middle. Yeah, take a look at this. A little encumbrance I'm carrying in my pocket.
I handle it, you notice, by the muzzle. Pearl handle 38 revolver. Okay, what's the scoop?
Break it, Lieutenant. I've a vague notion you're going to find 2 shells discharged. I also have a notion that ballistics will show that the 2 bullets in this monkey came out of the gun you're holding.
2 hunks of lead missing.
Figures. And my fingerprints on the handle. And my fingerprints on the doorknob. And me and Bruce Burke supposed to have a feud going.
I hope you got a good story for me, kid. We've been friends a long time.
And a little dame wearing gloves. I'll bet mine are the only fingerprints on that Roscoe.
Better be a good story, kiddo.
Salulu, Lieutenant. Lend an ear. You tell him the tale and he listens. Louie's an old friend. You've worked together for years. He promises a thorough check on the situation, and you promise to be down to see him to check the check. You leave him the pearl-handle pistol, and you leg it to the next spot that might furnish a little information. The Lady Dances is rehearsing at the Ascot on 48th off Broadway. Backstage, there's one solitary guy working a song on a piano.
Well, what do you want, bub?
Looking for Jack Burke.
I'm Jack Burke.
Stands up from the piano, very fashionable type. White hair, slender figure, $200 suit.
Well, what is it, young man? What do you want here?
Oh, I thought there was a rehearsal going on.
It's off for a while.
Oh, may I ask
No, you may not ask. What do you want here?
Oh, name's Peter Chambers. I'm a private detective. I'd like to inquire about a young lady, Miss Elsa Corey.
I'm not messing into the affairs of every private shummus that comes barging backstage for some cockeyed reason of his own.
Oh, look, Mr. Burke.
I haven't got the time.
Just one little minute, Mr. Burke.
Oh, like that, is it? You want to play tough boy, huh? Willie!
A muscle-bound monster comes ambling out of the wings. The guy's 6'4" and practically as wide as he's long. Willie's got a face that's half moron, half pig. And the part of the pig is dangling in a couple of ham-like hands. But you're not worried about Willie. You've got a large ego and a lot of confidence. And you think you can take Willie if you had the time, but right now you don't have the time. So you turn from Willie to get back to Jack Burke. But you've underestimated Willie. Willie's not as amiable as he looks. You get a hit in the head like a stroke of paralysis, and the lights blaze and start whirling. And then there are no more lights. There's blackness. Whirling, spinning, blackness. You open your eyes and you're sitting on the sidewalk, sprawled like a drunk that forgot how to stop. You're backed against the stage door, but it's locked. You've got a bill to collect with a joker named Willie and a larger bill with his boss, Jack Burke. But you can't. Now. Thoughts joggle in your mind, and then you know where you're going. Loretta Burke is the wife of Bruce Burke, and she's got a lush little cave of her own on Central Park South. You head for it thinking about her. Loretta Burke, who managed a nightclub called The Flame. You head for her diggings, and then you're there.
Hello, Mr. Chambers. To what do I owe the pleasure?
A lush blonde, 30 years younger than Bruce. A page boy blonde with shining hair and shining green eyes. And a figure that brings you to a full stop. Loretta Burke in silver lounging pajamas.
Always nice to see you, Mr. Chambers. May I offer a drink?
You may. I can use it.
Here you are, Mr. Chambers.
Thank you.
Well, you're not yourself today, are you? Gulping your drink.
Well, for a very recent widow, Mrs. Burke, you're certainly bearing up staunchly.
I didn't know that you knew.
Well, let's do a reverse on that, sweetie. I didn't know for sure that you knew.
Look, tough boy, I don't believe in mourning. I don't wear my heart on my sleeve.
No, what do you wear it?
Inside, where it belongs. I'm a gal with a lousy reputation, but in my own peculiar way, I loved him.
Maybe you did in your own peculiar way.
Well, let's put it this way. Whoever killed him, sooner or later, is going to face up to me. Now, you got any comment, Mr. Chambers?
I don't know. This started off as such a beautiful day, and me sitting around thinking about how business is lousy.
Maybe you ought to get out of here and see if you can't stimulate a little.
Gentle hint, Mrs. Burke?
I've got a lot of things to do.
I get it. Well, one question before I leave. You know a little dame by name of Elsa Corey?
Never heard of her.
Bye now. See you around.
You bet you will.
Outside, you call the office about Elsa Corey, but of course our little birdie has jumped the chicken coop. You do a small debate with yourself. Corey or Parker? Which one first? But you promised the lieutenant, so you mosey to police headquarters downtown. You're jogging up the steps when you see him coming out. Now hurry.
Well, the private eye, or is it the public enemy? You coming to give yourself up?
Lieutenant is jocular, but he looks worried, and when a friend looks worried, you begin to worry.
That was the murder gun, Pete, no question. I'm working it slow, working the angles first, because you're involved. But that little Elsa Corey better be around to back up your story.
Well, what else is new, Lieutenant?
Jack Burke's been scouting for dough for his show. He needs money. Bruce's wife, that doll, always needed dough. Well, they're both falling into it.
How?
Bruce Burke's will. Jack gets half the estate, Loretta Burke gets the other half, plus the nightclub goes to her.
Real cozy, huh?
Now, look, pal, you're not one for throwing stones. Not in this case. So far, all I've really got is you.
Yeah. You've been a doll, Lieutenant, a living, breathing doll.
Well, don't depend on it, Pete, not for too long. I know you, but as a DA, he's beginning to champ at the bit, so let me go to work now, huh?
Where are you heading for?
Date with Jack Burke.
Jack Burke, where?
Casa Moretti, upstairs, private room, number 4.
Look, Louie, one more favor. Give me a 10-minute head start, huh?
Head start with whom?
Jack Burke. I've got a bill to collect, and it's overdue. 10 minutes, Lieutenant? Oh, please, Louie.
Okay, but I hope you know what you're doing.
Oh, I hope so, too. The Casa Moretti is in Greenwich Village, and it serves the longest, skinniest, most flavorsome spaghetti west of a little town called Rome, which they tell me is in Italy. Casa Moretti has a downstairs dining room and an upstairs private room where you can run yourself a tete-a-tete or a banquet, depending on your mood. Your mood right now is for a little private chatter, and you rub your knuckles against the door marked 4.
What? You again? Now, look here.
First, you clip him because you owe it to him.
No.
Then you close the door. Then you drag him into the room. And you give him a quick frisk, but there isn't a thing on him that's incriminating. So now you pick him up and deposit him in a chair. And you slap him back to consciousness.
What?
Now, live it up, Mr. Burke. Come on, listen to the birdie sing.
I'm listening. And you're no birdie. What do you want?
A bit of polite conversation, nothing more.
Well, what do you want?
Johnny One Note, that's me. Little lady by name Elsa Corey. Know her?
Yes, she's the second lead in the show we're rehearsing.
Know her any, better than that?
She's an actress in my show, period.
Have it your way. According to her, she says your brother sent her to see me. Did you introduce her to your brother?
No.
You happen to know if your brother was acquainted with her?
My brother is dead.
I know that.
And from what I hear, You, a private eye by the name of Chambers, you hated his guts.
I'm supposed to know all about that, too.
All right. Is there anything else?
No. I told you all I wanted was a bit of polite conversation.
Well, then get out of here.
Say it nice.
Will you please leave, Mr. Chambers?
Oh, a pleasure, Mr. Burke. A pleasure indeed. There's one stop left. You've done the merry-go-round. You've gone the full circle. Elsa Corey said 1013 East 39th Street. Turns out to be a tinderbox. Ramshackle is an ancient barn on a prairie. Young actresses don't have it too easy, and that is a problem. You climb up to 2B and you knock on a door that's thinner than Melba toast and has about as much resistance. Nobody answers. You turn to leave and all of a sudden, a hunch comes up and clobbers you. You shove a shoulder at the rattletrap door and you lean hard. You're inside now. Little room with the barest of trimmings. And your hunch is paid off because you're not alone. Elsa Corey sits in a chair and looks at you, but her eyes aren't blinking. Elsa Corey. Her face mottled and blue bruises on her throat. Elsa Corey strangled to death. So, it's still a beautiful day. Only it's not day anymore. It's nighttime. You've gone home and you've put in a little afternoon sleeping, but it hasn't helped. You're way down deep in a jam and you feel it beginning to close in.
How goes it, Pete, boy?
Pretty bad.
Yeah, bad.
Detective Lieutenant Louis Parker, a nice guy and a good friend, but the expression on his face is that of a pallbearer with rheumatism doing his job on a rainy day.
Ain't good, pal. Stinks, in fact.
Yeah.
Elsa Corey, she's dead.
Yeah.
We got another one of them phone calls. Anonymous.
I can clear that for you.
Like how?
I made that phone call.
You did?
Yeah. I busted into her place and I found her. Like what you found when you got there.
You know what it means, kid.
Got an idea?
You had one little out, an alibi witness named Elsa Corey. Now she ain't with us no more. Where's that leave you?
Crouched behind the 8-ball, only keeps getting smaller.
Pete, you know how I feel about you, but... Want to come downtown with me now, fella, and tussle it out with the DA's people?
Well, must we...
What's left, kid?
Well, I've got a little night duty to attend to. I've been sort of resting up for it.
Night duty?
Yeah, look. Let's make a date, Louis. I either collect a killer for you or I present myself.
Present yourself when?
Let's say tomorrow morning, bright and early tomorrow morning. You either get a closed case by then or you've got me.
You know, I only work for a living, Pete. I can get kicked off the force.
I never crossed you up, Louis, ever. It's been a long time now, you and me. It's one for the storybooks, a private eye and a public cop who can work together and who respect each other. We got a deal.
Deal it is, yeah.
Bye, Lieutenant.
Bye, Detective.
The Flame is a nightclub on the outskirts of town, and that's your next stop. And the last stop, you figure, one way or another. You get the car out of the garage, you drive up and park in their parking lot. The club is a distance off, and you crunch through gravel on your way. You see a uniformed cop a distance off, but you don't see what's right close near you.
Easy does it, mister.
Well, if it ain't little Willie.
That's me, pal.
Willie's loaded with artillery and is jammed to your ribs.
Back up to that shed, mister. Double time we do it.
But you're not having any. You're not turning your back on Willie. You did that once, and once is enough. So the left comes down on the gun, and the right goes to the chin. And down goes Willie with me on top of him. The gun gets kicked out of the way, and Willie absorbs a few additional raps, and then my hands are around his throat.
You're choking me.
That's the general idea, Willie.
Let up, mister. Let up.
New position, Willie. Now I'm sitting across you like you're a hassock, and my fingers are still around that bull neck of yours. And you're a little weaker, Willie. you're quite a little weaker. Talk, Willie.
What do you want to know?
Why did you conk me backstage at the Ascot?
I got the signal from Jack.
You work for him?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're in rhythm now. Why did you croak Bruce Burke?
I didn't.
Oh, you need a little more pressure on your throat. Is that it?
No, I had nothing to do with Bruce.
Okay. Elsa Corey. Talk it up good now, Willie. Well, okay.
I went there, 39th Street. Jack sent me. I did a job on her like Jack told me to do.
Willie passes out of the picture. You get up off him, collect his gun, and go looking for the cop, and latch law onto Willie with instructions to deposit him in the lap of Detective Lieutenant Louis Parker. Then you brush at your clothes, and you make for the nightclub. The joint is jumping, and it's temptation, but you haven't got the time. You steer through the joyous people to the door marked Office of the Manager, and you open it without knocking.
Well, Peter Chambers, we're just talking about you. Close the door.
The other half of that we is Jack Burke. He's in a tuxedo. And Loretta is in a red off-the-shoulder job that almost gets your mind off your work. But the old mind comes right back to attention because dear Loretta shoves a lily white hand into the desk drawer and it comes up caressing an ugly 45.
Sit down, Mr. Chambers.
Oh, thanks. I'll stand.
Jack and I have been chatting about you.
In what connection?
In connection with the death of my husband.
Lady, you're pointing that gun in the wrong direction.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Jack Burke, who dreamed himself up a foolproof little murder, only I'm going to take it apart for him right now.
This had better be good.
Listen, this guy is in a jam with his show. He's looking for money all over town. Do you know whether he asked Bruce for a loan?
Yes, I know he did. And Bruce turned him down. Bruce had no confidence in the lady dancers.
So Bright Boy figured one out. If he bums Bruce, he gets half of his estate. Even if he can't get the loot right away, he can borrow on the strength of it. So he kills him.
He's a liar.
He knows a little dame, second lead, Elsa Corey. This kid doesn't know which end is up. He gives her the cleaned-up gun, and she's wearing gloves, so it's still clean.
What is she supposed to do with
She's
it?
supposed to come to me because Jack thinks there's bad blood between me and Bruce. She's to threaten me, not shoot me. No, nothing like that. And she's to tell me that Bruce sent her.
Bruce? Why Bruce?
Because this guy figured it exactly as it happened.
Oh.
I took the gun away from her. I went to Bruce to find out what it was all about. The door was conveniently left open for me, and I found Bruce like this bum had left him. And then a cop show, spurred by an anonymous phone tip. Cute, huh?
Cute enough. Where's the girl? That Elsie Corey.
Yes, where is she? Where is she?
Look at him wiggle. The big producer. Where is she? She's dead.
What?
He wasn't going to let her hang around to testify against him, was he? Did you ever hear of Willie?
Of course.
Willie choked her to death.
Proof, not words.
The law's caught up with Willie. He's yodeling out there like a broken-down jukebox.
Well, that's proof against Willie, not proof against me.
Look at him, squirming like a rat with his tail in a trap. Look at him. How much more proof do you want? The lady looks. Guilt is scribbled on him like the devil is written on his forehead. She lifts the gun, and for a minute you think it's for you. But it isn't. There isn't much left to look at when you get to him, and all of it is very dead.
All right. It's over, and it's done with.
Mind if I sit down for just a couple of minutes?
Sit.
It was a beautiful day before it shaped up cloudy.
What are you talking about?
Then a dame comes in and threatens me with a gun, and I get myself jammed up with the law as a murder suspect, and I get pushed around by an ape named Willie, and then I almost catch up at the wrong end of your 45, but it's finally developed into business.
Business? From whom?
You.
Me?
Next stop for you is a pokey. Maybe with a good lawyer. Who knows? It turns out justifiable homicide.
That's business for a lawyer. Not for you.
True enough, but a lawyer's got to have facts. Now, who's better at getting up facts for you than yours truly?
I'm beginning to see what you mean. How much?
Well, for a lady who's coming into $1 million plus a swanky nightclub, how's $5,000?
You've talked yourself into a client, Mr. Chambers. You're hired.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a bunch.
And there you've had Crime and Peter Chambers. Dane Clark was starred as Peter Chambers. Crime and Peter Chambers, transcribed, was created, produced, and written by Henry King. Others in the cast were Bill Zuckert, heard as Lieutenant Parker, Fran Carlin as Loretta, and Everett Sloan as Jack. It was directed by Fred Way, and this is Fred Collins inviting you to tune in again next week, same time, same station, for Dane Clark in Crime and Peter Chambers.
Visit with Fibber McGee and Molly tonight on the NBC Radio Network.
Crime and Peter Chambers. Created by Henry King, transcribed and starring Dane Clark. A private investigator, duly licensed and duly sworn. Peter Chambers.
You're a private eye. That's your business. Anything else? That's for laughs. The guy on the customer's end of your office desk? No laughs here. This one is strictly business. He's a round little man, balding on top, pudgy in the middle. He's got eyes like a vulture and a cranky voice.
Mr. Chambers, you've been highly recommended to me. You're supposed to be number one in your racket.
He chuckles with a phony heartiness, and the eyes crinkle up, vulture's eyes, with an extra set of bags under them. The upper set are dark, bulbous circles from lack of sleep. The lower set are worry bags, purple and network with wrinkles.
I'm out on a writ of habeas corpus, Mr. Chambers.
Yeah, and on a murder rap.
They haven't got a thing
Now,
on
just
me.
a minute, pal. Let's get some of our facts ironed out. Your name is Charles Avon.
Uh-huh.
You're a druggist here in New York.
Right?
You're married, and you've got no kids.
Correct. Wife's name's Nancy. Lives 1688 Gramercy Park North.
All right, now let's get to the meaty part. You're accused of the murder of one Alan Lewis.
Yeah,
Used to be a clerk in your drugstore.
that's right.
Police claim you killed him Monday, which is yesterday evening at his Park Avenue Park Avenue.
Yeah, so they claim.
Well, did you kill him, Mr. Avon?
Absolutely not.
And my job?
Is to find out who did kill him, so that I don't have to carry that burden around, too.
What's the other burden, Mr. Avon?
Well, there are two sides to every question. In my business, I don't...
All right, we'll skip that temporarily. Now, let's see. The cops hauled you in for the murder of your clerk.
Ex-clerk. He hadn't been working for me for a year, living off the fat of the land.
Why'd they pick on you, Mr. Avon?
Because I was supposed to be there last night at 8 o'clock. That's when it happened to him. And also, I'm supposed to have a motive for his murder.
Well, did you have a motive?
Well, if a guy's been blackmailing you for a year...
Blackmail? What? Well, what do you have on you, Mr. Avon?
Well, now, I don't know that I...
Come on, let's have it.
Well, narcotics.
Narcotics.
We had a deal going, sort of, with narcotics. The lawyer knows all about it.
I want to know.
Well, I was looking for easy money, and I'm doing all right. This Alan Lewis, he learns about it. He was working for me, you understand, and he started holding me up.
And so last night, when he's murdered...
I came there to talk with him, but he wasn't home. That's all. He wasn't home. Then last night, the police picked me up, and I don't even know what they're talking about.
Who's your lawyer?
Richard Evans, Dick Evans. You know him?
Yeah, I know Dick.
Mr. Chambers, you've got to help me out of this jam.
Not the narcotics, pal.
No, the murder.
And it'll cost you 5,000 simoleons.
That's fair enough.
Cash on the barrelhead. I don't trust guys like you.
Okay, but I don't have it on me. If you'll accompany me to the bank... Well,
I can't say I admire my choice of companion.
You're an insulting
Let's
one.
go, Mr. Avon. We'll discuss it on the way. You get to the bank and you're paid, and you kiss him off like you'd kiss off a king cobra that just became a client. But if the guy's not guilty of murder, it's your job to prove it. That's what you're being paid for. So you get rid of him. And you go downtown to the offices of B. Richard Evans, Regal, Legal, Eagle. Hi, honey. Mr. Evans in?
I'm all right, Pete. Come on. I've been expecting you.
Hi, Dick. How are things going?
Fine, Petey. Come right on in.
Okay. Dick Evans, boy lawyer. Black hair, beak nose, and cyclone cellar voice. A two-tone personality split at 5 o'clock. Tricky as a slippery bath mat before the deadline, but afterward, wide open and roaring. A wielder of martinis, like a good farmer with a pitchfork.
What brings you, Mr. Detective?
Charles Avon, Dick. How easy was it getting him out on that writ?
Easier than getting stepped on in the subway?
Because why, Counselor?
Because the prosecution doesn't have a thing on it.
Well, they got motive.
Motive isn't murder, Mr. Chambers.
Well, how'd that guy get it, that Alan Lewis?
2 bullets. One ripped through his right shoulder, rather unimportant. The second one pasted in over his right eye. Very important.
Prosecution got the gun?
No, sir, they don't. All they got is motive, period. They gave him a 9-hour grilling, and all they could come up with was motive.
Okay. Now, what about the other charge?
What other charge?
The narcotics.
Well, I'm going to plead him guilty on that. He ought to get a light sentence because without Alan Lewis, they've hardly got a case.
And here comes motive again for the death of Alan Lewis.
Well, the police know all about that. How much good has it done them?
By the way, how do they know? Who told them?
Frankie Tokers?
Frankie Tokers. Male or female?
Female, but good and female. You're going to like that when you come to it.
I like it already, just from looking at your face.
Have another slice of motive, Mr. Chambers. This one's on Frankie. She was engaged to Alan Lewis.
That's motive?
Not yet, it's not, but this is. She's the beneficiary on his insurance policy for $30,000. Plus, she's the one who informed the police that the Lewis boy was putting the touch on Avon for the blackmail.
Well, how'd she know?
Her boyfriend confided in her.
Oh. Well, how'd she stand suspect-wise?
Oh, she's got an alibi, don't they all?
Frankie Tokers.
A very gorgeous number. He sings at the Rumpus Room with an equally gorgeous blonde partner with whom you will kindly have no truck.
Why?
Because that one is sort of reserved for me.
You have this Frankie Tokers phone number, Dick?
Got it written down somewhere. Name, address, and phone number. Here you are.
Thanks.
Yeah. You little trick. That's Frankie.
Hello.
Miss Tokers?
This is Miss Tokers.
Collins from the insurance company. There's been a slight complication. May I come to see you?
Well, when?
Oh, right away. The sooner the better.
Well, all right, if you insist. I should be here most of the afternoon.
Good. I'll see you shortly then. Bye, Miss Tokers. So you leave the lawyer and you go visit the lady. This is supposed to be the part the private eye enjoys, but don't make book on that. Because most of the dear ladies turn out to look like bats on a vacation from the belfry. This one happily doesn't. Miss Tokers?
Yes, I'm Miss Tokers.
Mr. Collins from the insurance company.
Oh, yes. Please come in.
Frankie Tokers. She's wearing a hostess gown, a metallic number in gold. Imagine that wrapped around a dream-bunched figure. Frankie Tokers. Tall, with an oval face and wide dark eyes that glint like brandy bottles under bar lights. You don't fool around with a kid like that.
Mr. Collins?
I'm sorry. My name's not Collins, Miss Tokers, and I'm not from the insurance company. My name's Chambers, Peter Chambers. I'm a private detective. And they tell me that you're on a spot.
Get out.
Now, just a minute.
Get out, I tell you.
Look, lady, I think you've got me pegged wrong.
Please, oh, please.
You explain the situation, and tears come up in the blackberry brandy eyes. Naturally, you put your arm around her, and just as naturally, she puts her head on your shoulder. A sobbing brunette close in the arms of the private detective. There you have the classic situation. But you've been paid $5,000 to find out who killed Talk Robbins, so reluctantly you break it up. No. I know how you feel, Miss Tokers. You love the guy, but he's dead.
Not true.
Huh?
I hated him.
But you were engaged to be married, weren't you?
That was going to end when I found out what he was really like.
And, whose idea was that $30,000 life policy with you as beneficiary?
His, of course. But that was going to be finished, too. Mr. Chambers, I couldn't tell the police, but I will tell you.
Why?
Because I want you to help me.
Look, sister, you didn't kill him, did you?
No. Listen, last night, the night he was killed, I went there. I was going to tell him off and finish it off completely.
What time?
9 o'clock. It was between shows. I'm a singer at the Rumpus Room.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, when I got there was no answer. I kept ringing, but there was no answer, and I was worried. I went back to the club, and I called on the phone. No answer. Then I called the police and told them that there was trouble there. I didn't say who was calling.
Now, wait a minute. Hold up just for a minute. First, why the police, just because the guy's not home? And second, how did you know there was trouble there?
Because I knew that he had an appointment with Mr. Charles Avon for 8 o'clock. And it was going to be a long talk. And I knew what the talk was about.
And what was it about?
About more money. More blackmail money.
Oh, I see. It figured for a trouble party, huh?
Yes.
And when the guy didn't answer at 9 o'clock, was your idea that the trouble had exploded?
Exactly. And 1 hour after the phone call, the police were at the club, investigating the murder of Alan Lewis. I told them everything I knew about the narcotics that Mr. Avon was dealing in and about Alan's blackmail, and about how he was going to raise the ante at this meeting between them.
Well, it answers why Charles Avon was picked up. What about your alibi?
I fixed that up with my singing partner. I arranged for her to say that I'd been with her all the time, in our dressing room. But I'm scared, Mr. Chambers. I'm sick scared inside of me. Help me. Please help me.
Oh, Miss Tokers, I'd hate it if you did put those slugs into Alan.
I didn't. Oh, I didn't.
She's asking for it. And you answer. You take her face in your hands, put your lips on hers, and you leave them there. With excellent results. But then you quit. You crash out of there, and you're heading for police headquarters. But you detour for Charles Avon's drugstore.
Good to see you again, Mr. Chambers.
I was thinking I might want to drop into your home tonight. Would you be there perhaps later on?
No, but my wife will. Oh, you don't know her. Oh, she's here right now. I'd very much like to have you meet her. Nancy?
Yes?
Yeah, my dear. Peter Chambers, the gentleman I told you about. My wife, Nancy Avon.
She's a small blonde, too young and too pretty for Charlie boy. She's wearing gold-rimmed black lens goggles, and you can't see her eyes. She's smooth-skinned and good-looking, but jumpy, nervous as a lion tamer who's lost his whip.
Did you wish to speak to me, Mr. Chambers?
Very much, but I don't have the time now. May I speak with you later?
Of course, but I'm leaving for home now.
Well, may I call you there?
Well, it's a little upset. It's May's day off, but if you wish...
I wish. See you later. Bye, Mr. and Mrs. Avon. And so you're riding your broom again, making time for police headquarters, and then you're there.
Come in. Well, Pete, what do I owe the honor?
Charles Avon, Louis, a paid-up client.
So, maybe you think you can do more than cops can do, huh?
I doubt it, but I can try. Detective Lieutenant Louis Parker, homicide. Thick-set and sturdy like a brand-new refrigerator and just about as enthusiastic. but a good cop. And mostly a good friend.
What's the pitch?
I'm being paid $5,000 to find out who put the chill on Alan Lewis.
Well, $5,000 to do what we do anyway, huh? Brother, yours is one business. Okay, what do you want?
Help?
That's hot. You're getting 5 G's. What do we get?
Well, any information that happens to fall my way, and no byline, you get all the credit. You buying?
What do you want, kid?
Well, I'd like to see the inside of Alan Lewis's apartment.
I'll buy that. In fact, I'll go with you.
You got a cop staked out there?
Nobody's staked out there. I've got better things to do with cops than having them sitting around getting fat. Okay, what else?
Anything else that's not too terribly confidential?
Not this case, Petey. We got us a nice fat group of nothing.
Well, then that's it, Lieutenant. Let us go look at apartments. Alan Lewis's joint turns out to be the usual bachelor's flat fitted out to please the ladies. Parker snoozes in the bedroom while you poke around like a critical matron seeking dust in the upholstery. In the library, a book sticks out like a sore thumb in a working pickpocket. You pull it out, and an envelope drifts to the floor. You pick that up and examine it. It's slid on top, and it contains a letter. It's addressed to Mrs. Nancy Avon, 1688 Gramercy Park, North, New York City. You don't stop to read the letter. You stick it in your pocket, and you're ready to leave. Then Parker comes into the room yawning.
You finished, Sherlock?
All done. Let's get out of here. Oh, by the way, I assume you guys gave this place a going-over.
Yeah, most of last night. Been through this apartment with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah, a fine-tooth comb.
Hey, is that a crack?
No crack intended, Lieutenant. Leave us leave.
Yeah, leave us.
Outside, Parker goes off, and you're left alone. Frankie Toker's place is nearby, and, well, maybe you're looking for an excuse to go back.
Hello, Mr. Chambers.
Oh. May I come in?
Please do.
You bring her up to date, you take the letter out of the envelope, and you read. Dear Nancy, finished is finished. Now you've got it in writing. I don't see the sense, but if you insist, you can come over Monday at 7:30. You can't stay long. As it happens, I have a date with Charles for 8 o'clock. Yours, Alan.
The date matches. Monday, yesterday.
The night he was killed.
That letter puts her right in the middle, doesn't it?
Say, you know anything about these two, Nancy Avon and Alan Lewis?
She was sweet on him, and he encouraged her.
Oh?
Charlie Avon didn't even know it was cooking, but she was planning to divorce him. And then Alan Lewis cooled off.
You mean, when he met you?
He'd have cooled off anyway. That's the kind of guy he was. Real loyal. Shot through with integrity.
Well, how'd she take it, you know?
He told me. She was plenty worked up over it.
Okay, Miss Tokers. Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you cross your fingers, and if I'm lucky, you're out of a jam.
Oh, I'd appreciate that. Would I appreciate that?
You figure your next stop for your last stop. 1688 Gramercy Park North.
Oh, Mr. Chambers. Please come in.
Mrs. Avon. She's dressed in Chinese-type lounging pajamas, and she's not wearing the dark lens specs. You look at her eyes, and a chill goes through you like winter's suddenly gotten into the marrow of your bones. Wild eyes, quick-moving, darting, half-mad eyes. The pupils dilated almost to the rim.
Something, Mr. Chambers?
A few questions.
Questions? Why questions of me?
Well, I've got a hunch I've stumbled on something the police don't know.
Like what?
Well, like you had a thing going with Alan Lewis. Your husband, you hope, didn't know about it.
But
There are letters. You saved them. Right, Mrs. Avon?
Yes.
You were there last night?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Avon. Now, where's the gun? Do you have it?
You say the police don't know. Perhaps Perhaps, I have
Look,
money.
I'm one of the dumb ones. I'm allergic to bribery. Now, where's the gun?
I have it. It's hidden here, hidden in the apartment.
Will you get it, please?
Yes. Yes, I'll get it. It's my own gun.
You wait while she goes for it, and you don't like it. But you haven't got the time to work it out now. Because she's coming back, and she's carrying the thing. A chunky, nickel-plated item. And she's holding it, business end forward. You get a scratched hip and a hole in your pants. And you're all ready to slug her, but you don't have to because she slides down in a faint. You get the gun away from her, find brandy, pour a lot into her, and a little into yourself. And finally she starts coming to.
I fainted.
You certainly did, lady.
I'm ill. I'm under the care of a psychiatrist. Gunshot, the sound of gunshot. One shot and I pass out. Even if I do it myself, I pass out.
What happened last night?
Almost like it happened here. I was there before he was, and when he came, we argued. I brought the pistol. I was wearing my gloves, and I shot him. And then I fainted. When I came to, I saw he was dead, and I got out of there.
Just a minute. You say you were there before he was? How'd you get in?
I have keys.
You get her to an easy chair, and you call down to Parker at headquarters. You put in a request for a lot of the law, and also for Mr. Charles Avon. Pretty soon, the place is crawling with cops, and you point a finger, and to Lieutenant Parker you say, I give you a murderer, Lieutenant.
But you got it wrong. You're mistaken.
No mistake. It's just where my finger's pointing. I give you, Lieutenant, Mr. Charles Avon.
This guy's nuts.
A lot of things he is. Nuts he ain't. Go on, Pete.
Here's a guy who comes in and hires me for $5,000 for something the New York City police can do much better and for nothing.
You're stealing my lines, chump.
But the guy's not crazy. He's got a purpose. He's also got a large contempt for the thoroughness of the police, which I haven't.
Start making sense, Petey boy.
Read this. You toss the letter to Detective Lieutenant Parker, and the room is as quiet as a cemetery until he's through reading it.
So?
I found that letter from Mrs. Avon to Alan Lewis. I found it in Lewis's apartment.
Wait a minute. We gave that place an extra special going over. That letter wasn't there.
You don't have to convince me. Convince Charles Avon. That baby goes and sees the wrong movies. He's got no confidence in cops.
No question. The letter wasn't there.
But I found it there, so it adds up to plant. Somebody planted it there, wanted it found there. Somebody wanted to implicate Mrs. Nancy Avon.
Who?
Who had access to her mail? Huh? Friend husband, that's who.
No.
Why do you think he hired me? So I could bumble around and find a few things he wanted me to find. Like frustrated love, like that letter, like maybe a confession from Mrs. Avon, which I got.
She confessed?
Doesn't mean a thing. Let me do it chronologically. Will
Do
you,
it any way you like, pal.
Nancy Avon goes there at 7:30 to keep her date.
Yeah.
She brings her gun because the young guy's giving her the air. She waits for him. He comes. They argue. She shoots him, and she faints. One shot.
But the guy had 2 bullet holes in him.
Correct. But here's how he got the second. Charles Avon's got a hate for both of them. For Alan and for Nancy. Alan's been blackmailing him, plus the wife is sweet on Alan. He's been steeping open her mail, and he knows she's going to meet him last night, so he follows. He follows, hoping against hope for action, and action happens. And then he gets in there, he sees Alan bleeding from the shoulder wound, and the wife in a faint on the floor. He picks up the gun, finishes off Alan, wipes the prints off, puts it back in her hand, and vamooses. She comes to, sees the dead Alan, and she gets out convinced that she killed him.
And then we pick up Charlie on the strength of Miss Toker's story, but the lawyer gets him sprung on a writ.
Right. So this morning, he goes to Lewis's apartment, and he sticks that letter where it can't be missed.
No,
Real contempt he has for the efficiency of cops, hasn't he? Anyway, he hires me so I can clean up some loose ends and lay the whole deal in the lady's lap. The minute I saw that letter, I knew it was a plant. It happens that I've got respect for cops. They'd never miss that kind of evidence.
One great big catch.
I know what you're going to say.
What?
How did he get in there twice? Once to croak the guy and once to plant the letter.
Correct.
Mrs. Avon had keys. Mr. Avon made duplicates. He figured he'd have use for them sooner or later. Well, he used them all right, and by now he's disposed of them. But he hasn't disposed of the key maker.
Meaning what?
Meaning that when a guy swipes his wife's keys to make duplicates, he doesn't go far. So you can demonstrate to Mr. Avon about the efficiency of cops by producing, and with dispatch, the neighborhood key maker who did the job, and that will put the final finger on Mr. Charles Avon.
No, I didn't.
All right, Mr. Avon.
That does it. Charles Avon goes white and topples, and when he gets up, the manacles are around his wrist, and he's babbling his brains out. Lawyer or no lawyer, this time he's going to get locked away for good.
Nice work. Grade A job, Petey. Congratulations.
Well, now. Appreciation from a detective lieutenant to a private eye, that's sweet music indeed. But you start breaking out of there because you're heading for Frankie Toker's place. Appreciation from Detective Lieutenant Parker, good enough. But appreciation from Miss Frankie Toker's, well, no.
And there you've had Crime and Peter Chambers. Dane Clark was starred as Peter Chambers. Crime and Peter Chambers, transcribed, was created and written by Henry Kane. Bill Zuckert was heard as Lieutenant Parker, with Leslie Woods, Edgar Staley, and Lawson Zerby. It was directed by Fred Way. This is Fred Collins, inviting you to tune in next week, same time, same station, for Dane Clark in Crime and Peter Chambers. Crime and Peter Chambers. Created by Henry King, transcribed and starring Dane Clark. A private investigator, duly licensed and duly sworn. Peter Chambers.
You're a private eye. That's your business. Anything else? That's for laughs. There are no laughs in this one, not unless you're a ghoul. Because you're strolling in a graveyard at midnight. You're walking in a cemetery out on Long Island. That's the job of work you're being paid for. You've got a package in your left hand and a flashlight in your right. Your imagination is starting to do nip-ups. When you get an interruption.
Put out the flashlight.
Yes, sir.
Now reach back and hand me that package.
Well, you're supposed to give me the word.
Word?
Well, them's my instructions, pal. A real melodramatic bit. You're supposed to say a name.
Abner Reed.
Well, that's the jackpot answer. Reach and grab your prize. And notice, please, I've still got my head turned.
And it better stay that way if you don't want holes in it. And you stay the way you are for the next 5 minutes.
But you don't stay the way you are for the next 5 minutes, for two reasons. One, 5 minutes in a graveyard is like, say, 5 years on the French Riviera. And two, you're blessed, or is it cursed, with a large lump of curiosity. So you turn, and you don't turn a moment too soon because you drop. You look to where Mr. Invisible disappeared, but you don't try to go after him because he's gone. And all the way back to town, you ponder about why the guy took pot shots at you. You didn't see him. He made sure you didn't. So why the extra precaution of a spray of bullets? Well, he missed you, so you shrug it off, and pretty soon you're in town at the fancy Fifth Avenue mansion of Mrs. Abner Reed.
Well, back so soon, Mr. Chambers.
Mission accomplished, milady.
Come in. Please come in, sir.
Mrs. Abner Reed. Born Florence Fleetwood Lovejoy, thrice married and rolling, you should pardon the expression, in mucho dinero. Worth maybe $25 million and reputed to be stingy about the whole thing.
Here's your fee, Mr. Chambers, as per agreement. $1,000.
Thank you, ma'am. And now, may I know what it's all about?
You know what was in that package?
Goulash for ghosts.
$250,000.
What?
$250,000.
Look, Mrs. Reed, you have a reputation for being, well, eccentric, but business transactions in the middle of the night in a graveyard.
That wasn't exactly a business transaction, Mr. Chambers.
Well, what then?
It was a delivery of ransom money.
What? You mean I'm mixed up in some kind of a cockeyed kidnapping?
Not exactly mixed up. You were an instrument of delivery. A chore for which you've just been paid.
The police know about this?
Not yet.
Not yet? When do you expect to inform them?
Tomorrow morning.
Look, what happened here?
Well, last night, my husband stepped out for a newspaper. He didn't return for 2 hours. Naturally, I was perturbed.
Well, naturally.
I thought, well, perhaps he'd stepped into a tavern for a drink. But then I got a phone call. He'd been slugged, rendered unconscious, and kidnapped.
Well, how can you be sure?
There was no doubt. It was he himself who was talking to me, with a gun pointed at his head.
I see.
I was told they'd call back this morning, and they did.
Would you be able to recognize the voice?
They're too smart for that. They put him back on the phone.
Oh.
The arrangements were made, and then came the question as to who would make the delivery. You're very well known, Mr. Chambers, and yours is an excellent reputation.
Well, thank you.
They're supposed to return him to me during this night.
$250,000.
I'm regarded as, a rather frugal person, but this is different. We've only been married 6 months, and I believe you know from the newspapers, my husband is 20 years younger than I am.
Yes, Abner Reed, I read about it. And I suppose you want me to clear out of here.
Frankly, I do.
But you are going to the cops with this.
Definitely, tomorrow morning, whether he's returned to me or not. At least then I'll know that I've done what I could to effect his release. They warned me that I was being watched. That if I called in the police, they'd kill him.
Easy does it, Mrs. Reed. Easy. Good night, and thanks. So you go home. You feel sorry for the old gal with the young husband. You think she's nuts not to contact cops, but you can't creep into another person's soul. You go home and you have a bit of scotch and you chase it with another bit of scotch. You've had a tough evening and you're ready to wrap up this day and put it to bed when, in the middle of the night, you've got a caller. That's the life of a private eye, about as much privacy as a parakeet in a kindergarten. But it can always be a client. Somebody's turned off the corridor lights, and it's pitch black out there. And suddenly, the blackness is punctuated with blazes of light. Oh. You're hit, and you don't know how bad. You get to the phone. Hello? Operator? Hospital. Emergency. You're under sedatives for a day while they probe for the bullets. Then you're sitting up in the hospital bed, raring to go. But they tell you 5 days. 5 days before they'll let you out of there. And then you get a caller. Amiable, but worried-looking.
Hi, Detective. Hey, you coming around real good.
Hi, Lieutenant. What brings you?
As if you didn't know.
He stares down at you. Detective Lieutenant Parker, New York City Police. Stern, square, and a friend.
That Abner Reed shindig. I hear you were an innocent bystander in the cemetery.
Did they return the guy?
Yeah. None the worse for his experience.
Newspapers got it yet?
No, we're trying to work it through before it gets any publicity.
Well, what kind of a guy is he, this Abner Reed?
Oh, a nice enough kid. He used to be a dancing instructor. That's how he met the lady with the bucks.
She been liberal with him?
Liberal as she can be, I suppose. Rich, but plenty tightwad, that one.
What did he do for amusement before he got married?
He ran around a lot. Nightclub stuff and things. Handsome kid. Figures for a lot of gals. Why this line of questioning?
I'm trying to get an idea as to his background. If it was hard guys that he used to run around with, it might clue us to the brains behind this snatch.
It's all been done, my lad, and what we've come up with is a large selection of zeros. Now, let's hear your story, huh?
You give it to him. The whole deal, and his face furrows up as he ponders it.
What makes you a target, Pete?
I wish I knew.
First, the attempt at the cemetery, then the attack at your apartment. You sure you told me everything?
Everything I know, Louis. But I'm going to know more. Somebody sets me up as a clay pigeon, and it becomes my job to find out who's taking target practice. Any objections, Lieutenant, to my sticking my nose into it?
If my objections could keep you out.
Thanks, pal.
Okay, then I'll beat it now. You get your rest. But remember, when they let you out of here, we work this one together, huh?
Sure enough, Lieutenant. Anger and well-being seem to run hand in hand, and as your health improves, so your anger mounts. By the time you're out of the hospital, you're tense as a piano wire and fit to bust wide open. You run around and ask questions. You see Mrs. Reed several times. The husband's in Bermuda recuperating, but Parker's interviewed him time and again and has squeezed every possible fact out of him. And now the husband's back in town, but you're not wasting your time there anymore. Parker's an expert, and Parker's already wrung him dry. So now you're sitting in your office and thinking about your next move. And then your next move is made for you. Oh?
Mr. Chambers? Peter Chambers?
Yeah, this is he.
My name is Sandra Mantell. I live at 1786 East 54th Street, apartment 2, downstairs.
Yes, Miss Mantell.
Okay, I want to talk to you about a kidnapping. The kidnapping of Abner Reed.
What? What's that?
I'm involved. It was my idea, really. I dreamed it up. I was supposed to get a third, 1/3 share. But I'm not getting it, so I want to talk.
Yes, Sandra.
I want you to make a deal for me, Mr. Chambers. If I spill, I want to be able to cut the plate. If I turn in that state's evidence, I want a suspended sentence.
So why are you calling me?
Because I know you're mixed up in it. Because I want you to go to the cops and tell them I'll spill the whole deal. Nobody's going to cross me and get away.
Hello? 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 The address she gave you is near enough. You slam out of the office and you run all the way, and then you're there, apartment 2. And you're in the presence of death, a blonde with blood on her face. But there's another blonde standing by, and this one's very much alive.
Who are you?
Peter Chambers. This girl was talking to me when that happened. You didn't do it, did you?
No.
Who are you?
Betty Royal. My name's Betty Royal. I'm her roommate. I've only been her roommate for a week.
Did you call the cops?
Yes, I phoned.
A well-stacked blonde. A beautiful blonde, a live one. The dead one must have been pretty, too. You prowl around and you see the gun on the floor. You see that the receiver's back on the hook, too, but that figures. Betty Royal said she called the cops.
Let me tell you what happened.
Wait. Let me ask the questions, Miss Royal. Now, that gun on the floor, is that yours?
No, it's not mine. I found it.
Easy, does it? Easy.
But
Just tell me what happened.
I was coming back from rehearsal.
Yeah?
I'm a ballet dancer. And as I came into the hallway, I heard the shots. I hurried forward, the door opened, and a man came running out. We bumped into each other, and that's when the gun dropped to the floor. He struck me and ran out.
What did he look like?
I have no idea. I came in and found her. Like that. She was dead.
And then?
I went out in the hall for the gun. I remembered about not touching things. Fingerprints. I kicked it with my foot. I kicked it along until I worked it into the apartment.
Good girl.
Then I picked up the dangling receiver and I called the police.
She's in tears again. And you go to her and you hold her. And she's a cuddly little package. And you think about how sweet this could be under different circumstances. Cops. Lots of cops. Tons of cops. And they're in charge of Detective Lieutenant Louis Parker.
Never fails, huh? When there's a corpse, there's you.
It's mixed up with the other thing, Lieutenant.
What other thing?
You straighten them out on current events. From the phone calling your office to right now.
You wearing a gun, Pete?
Yeah.
Good. Now listen to me. For once, will you listen to me?
Don't I always listen, Lieutenant?
Okay. There's some kind of crazy killer loose, right?
Right.
And he's mixed up with that Abner Reed snatch, right?
Right as rain, Lieutenant.
And you're still unfinished business on his list, right?
Right as a real downpour.
So go home and lock the door. You stay there.
Now, what are you going to do in the meantime?
I'm going to work at my trade. But I'll come up and see you, Pete, as soon as I get loose from all this, and then we'll knock it around some more. But don't open your door to anybody but me.
So you go home. You're a good little boy, and you've listened to Papa. You sit around like an old lady with lumbago. But you sit. You do some home cooking and some home drinking. But you sit. Finally, at 2 a.m. Who is it?
Louis Parker.
Oh. Bit of the cup that cheers, Lieutenant?
Yeah, I can use a little cheer.
There you are.
Thank you. That hits the right spot.
Well, look, let's get down to cases, Lieutenant.
Ah, there's my boy. Always in there pitching.
Cases, Louis.
Well, Petey boy, that gun on the floor was the murder gun.
Good.
And we've got a gorgeous set of fingerprints off it. Only prints on it, as a matter of fact.
Good.
So, now we come to the catch.
There's got to be a catch.
The prints match nothing that we've got on file. Don't match anything out of Washington. Where's that leave us?
Way out in left field on a rainy day, but there's no ball game.
Guess who was her boyfriend?
Guess whose boyfriend?
The dead doll? That's Sandra Mantell. Oh, by the way, you know what her business was?
I don't know nothing.
Hooch dancer, burlesque. Pretty good at it, too.
I'm thrilled. Now, who's the boyfriend?
Nicky Darrow.
What?
Nicky Darrow.
Oh, that was a rhetorical what, Lieutenant? It was a what of amazement, a what of astonishment, a what of shock.
Okay, all right. Stop picking on me.
Nicky Darrow, huh? Well, don't you call that a lead?
We had him in. We questioned him. We did the fingerprint bit. Total reaction negative. We had to release him.
What time is it?
It's 2:30 in the morning.
Let's get out of here.
Out. Where are you going?
Work. You?
I'm going to sleep. Pete.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Be careful. Nicky Darrow, a hoodlum with big ideas.
Ex-gunman, ex-con, ex-crook. Gone real respectable now. Owner of a fancy saloon. Caterer to cafe society. Big wheel with the theatrical folk. So way down deep under, deadly as a two-headed rattlesnake bent on mischief. You get to Nick's place, which is hopping, and you jostle through the happy people to Nick.
Well, the private eyeball. Long time no see, saw.
Can I talk to you, Nicky?
Sure, talking with you, Nicky's liable to get educated.
He's big, he's arrogant, he's power drunk. He leads you through to the back, and he sits you down.
Stay up, Elzo. Real nice and comfortable. Have a drink, huh, in the house. Okay?
Thanks, Nicky.
Waiter, couple of drinks here. Scotch for the eyeball. That's his drink, scotch. Was it tickling you, pal?
That kind of tickling, you can die laughing.
What are you talking about?
Bullets. You on my back, Nicky.
Hey, I don't even know what you're beginning to think you want to talk about.
Somebody's blowing spitballs at me, Nicky. Any idea who?
No, sir, I got no idea who. No how.
Good enough. Now we shift the gear. Girlfriend of yours died today of unnatural causes.
Yeah, so I hear.
Any ideas on that, like who done it?
No, but I'm going to find out, pal. This is one time I'm working on your side.
Okay, now we shift to high. You beginning to stick your dirty mitts into kidnapping, too?
Talk nice to Nicky.
I talk the way I want to talk, to whom I want to talk.
You're a sweetheart kind of guy, a lot of guts. I like a guy with a lot of guts. The answer is no.
No to what?
Have a little sense, pal. The snatch racket is out for any guy with brains. There's easier ways to turn a buck.
That's all. Bye now, Nicky. Live it up. Have fun, big shot.
Hey, there's drinks coming.
We'll skip it this trip. So you're back where you started, fresh out of Leeds. And it goes on like that for the next few days. Long days, lumpy ones, slow moving. And you're wearing your hardware, and you're turning to look over your shoulder wherever you are. You've called on Betty Royal a few times, and you like that. You like that very much. And now you're calling on her again, for no reason at all, except that you like that very much. But you find her breathless with excitement.
I found something, Mr. Chambers. I think it could be important.
Pete, not Mr. Chambers. Pete, remember?
Yes, Peter. A little black book. It belongs to... Well, it belonged to Sandra. She must have put it into my bag by mistake, and that bag's been in my locker at rehearsal hall.
Let's see it. A little black book with a lot of names, and not one that means anything to you. But they may mean a lot to Parker, so you latch on to the lovely Betty Royal, who's as lovely and as regal as her name, and off you go, a chattering twosome, downtown to police headquarters, downtown to Detective Lieutenant Parker. And you barge in without knocking because you think you've got right. Only to find that he's got company, so you start backing out again.
Come in, Pete. Miss Royal.
Thank you kindly, Governor.
Thank you.
Company's a tall young man with a bruiser's shoulders and an angel's face.
Lieutenant Parker, I found a little black book. I found it in my locker. It doesn't belong to me. Mistaken bags. It's Sandra's. Sandra Martell's.
This is the little black book, Lieutenant.
Yes.
Prattling is God's given right to a beautiful girl.
Well, thank you, Peter. By the way, let me introduce Abner Reed. I don't think you two have ever met. Abner Reed, Peter Chambers, Miss Betty Royal.
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do?
Glad to know you. Well, Lieutenant, as we were saying...
Wait a minute. What did you say your name was?
I just told you.
I'm asking him. Come on, fella, keep talking. What did you say your name was?
My name? As the lieutenant told you, Abner Reed. Abner Reed, of course. You
jump him right away. You don't wait. He's big and you want the first punch.
And you get the first punch in, but he takes it standing up and lets do a few of his own.
All right, stop it. Break it up. What the devil's going on here?
You slip by a couple of his lefts, and then he's wide open, and you come up with one off the floor, and he catches it clean on the button. And now he's down and out, and he'll stay out until someone brings him to.
You're crazy, man. That's assault and battery. You're going to do time, fella.
Yeah.
Boy, you really flipped your wig this time. Here, let me help
Stay
you.
away from him.
Now, look, Pete.
Look, you and I, Lieutenant, we've thrown a lot of questions around. There's a couple of answers coming up right now.
Like what?
Like why I was shot at the graveyard and shot up in my apartment. Like why Sandra Mantell was killed. Like why she called me in the first place. Like why that gun had fingerprints.
Easy. One at a time.
Oh, let's take the last one first. Fingerprints on a gun.
Yeah.
A guy dropping it when he collides with a dame. Panicking, running out, leaving it there. Does that sound professional?
Not especially.
Well, a rule's out of pro. What does a rule in? An amateur.
So
let's do it right side up now. Now, here's a guy, Abner Reed. He married a large hunk of dough. But he can't reach too much of it because she's frugal.
So
at the suggestion of a friend of his, Miss Sandra Mantell, and you'll find, I'm sure, with a good deal of digging, that those two had a close sub-rosa association.
Well, never mind what I'll find out. Let's get this over with first.
On her suggestion, they figured out a beauty. The guy kidnapped himself. Remember Mrs. Reed talked in the alleged ransom discussions to nobody but him on the phone?
Yes, yeah.
He knew the old dame. She'd pay and play ball, which she did.
But why? Why were you attacked there in the cemetery?
Because Reed didn't want any remnants hanging around. But, Pete, how did you tab him so quick?
He never bothered to disguise his voice in the graveyard. He figured to leave me there for dead, and this was the first time I've heard it since.
So he punches bullets at you in your apartment, and that time he almost made it.
And then when he wouldn't abide with Sandra, she decided...
Everybody's a detective. Although you're 100% right, Betty Lass. She called me, knew where to call me, because she was in it from the very beginning.
He caught her in the act and finished her off.
And if you will kindly use the fingers of that comatose gentleman for the purpose of making fingerprint impressions, I don't have a doubt in the world what you'll find. And so, 1 hour later, Abner Reed is booked for murder and extortion. And you're strolling in the joyful sunshine with Betty Royal clinging to your arm tightly and proudly. And what prettier termination can there be to so unfortunate a circumstance as murder?
And there you've had Crime and Peter Chambers. Dane Clark was starred as Peter Chambers. Crime and Peter Chambers, transcribed, was created, produced, and written by Henry King. Others in the cast were Bill Zuckert, heard as Lieutenant Parker, with Evelyn Barden, Patricia Wheel, and Roger Dakota. It was directed by Fred Way. This is Fred Collins inviting you to tune in next week, same time, same station, for Dane Clark in Crime and Peter Chambers.
Visit with Fibber McGee and Molly tonight on the NBC Radio Network.
Crime and Peter Chambers. Created by Henry King, transcribed and starring Dane Clark. A private investigator, duly licensed and duly sworn. Peter Chambers.
You're a private eye. That's your business. Anything else? That's for laughs. It's one of those dark brown nights, dirty with rain. You're home and you're doing calisthenics with a scotch bottle. It isn't so much that you enjoy a drink, but after all, you're a private eye. You might get waved out of the league if you didn't keep in practice. You're contemplating a warm shower and an early go-to-bed when... Hello?
Mr. Chambers. Peter Chambers.
At your service, ma'am. At the service you want.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm so glad I was able to reach you.
Oh, I'm glad you're glad, lady. What is it, please?
My name is Doyle. Mary Doyle. I own a rooming house at 801 West 53rd.
That's quite near.
Perhaps 10 minutes from where you are. Now, look, Mr. Chambers, it's kind of a bodyguard job for tonight.
Tonight? Oh, lady, it's murder tonight. It's pouring rain.
I know it, sir, but it's kind of an emergency, sir.
Oh, better be.
$100,000 in cash. She's got $100,000 up there. Oh!
Hello? Hello? A fine night to be making a house call, but emergency, the lady said, and it certainly sounded like the emergency had bust wide open. So, you're fighting the rain, making tracks for a rooming house at 801 West 53rd. And then you're there. And you shove at the buzzer. And you get no answer. And you turn the knob, and you're inside. Inside is a spacious downstairs room. A flight of steps going up. There's a phone on a corner table, and its receiver is dangling. And there's a lady seated in front of it. About 40, red-haired, buxom, quite attractive if you're thinking in large terms. She's wearing silk lounging pajamas with shoes to match, and she's out like the proverbial light. You go to her quickly, and you slap her back to life. All right, there. Come on. Easy does it, lady. You coming around now? All right?
Yeah. Oh, somebody slugged me, but good.
Miss Doyle? Or is it Miss Doyle?
Yeah, Miss Doyle. You... Who are you? What are you doing here? Who are you?
Peter Chambers. You were talking to me on the phone.
Oh, good. Look, I'll be with you in a moment.
Wait a
Please
minute.
don't go away.
Here's a new gimmick. You find an unconscious woman, and when you bring her round, she shoots off like a rocket, come Mardi Gras. Well, screams to a private detective are like spurs to a racehorse. You fly up the stairs, and you find Mary Doyle in a room with an open door. And there's a lady on the floor, quite rigid. And near her, a small instrument of large consequence, a nickel-plated revolver.
Dead. She's dead. They shot her. It's the gun.
Don't touch that.
But the gun.
Just leave that lie. Now, what's all this about?
Just a minute.
Well, what are you looking for now?
A little black bag.
A little black bag. What's that got to do with this
There's
whole...
$100,000 in its cash money. And it's gone.
Look, one thing at a time, lady. Who's the corpus delicti?
Algadino.
And who that?
An opera singer. From Italy. She was here in this country for a year.
Oh, Algadino. Oh, great soprano. What was she doing here?
She didn't like hotels. I run a very correct theatrical boarding house here. The best.
Algadino.
She liked it here. We were good friends.
Look, you better go downstairs and call the cops, and you and I, we'll pick it up after that.
All right. All right, sir. Whatever you say.
So now you go for the gun, only you lift it with a pinky through the trigger guard. But all your careful care is wasted because there's an interruption slightly from mayhem, and the mayhem is directed at you. Get it off.
All right, people. You still got the gun. You got me with my hands up in the air. So what's our next move?
What are you doing here? What kind of a boarding house is this anyway?
Well, let me tell you. I'm sure I can come up with a good answer if I think about it.
And now you get another interruption. But this one's of the opposite gender. She stands in the doorway, blue-eyed, red-lipped, blonde and statuesque.
And you'd be wildly interested if it weren't for a slight matter of murder.
You with the gun. What's between you and Mr. Brown?
Who wants to know?
My name is Joan Bradly.
Well, I do a low bow, Miss Bradley, except I've got to keep the gun pointed at our friend here.
At Mr. Brown?
Oh, Mr. Brown to you, maybe. Bill Craig to me, a hood from Louisiana hiding out from a grand jury investigation.
Mr. Brown?
Just a little misunderstanding.
Never mind him. Now, take a look at this, miss.
Olga Dino.
Very dead and very murdered.
No.
You live here?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I'm a lady magician.
Who else lives here?
Mr. Brown, Olga, Ralph Hardwood, me, and Miss Doyle.
That all in the entire house?
Being renovated.
That's all she could accommodate at this time.
Okay. Now, my name is Peter Chambers, and right now I'm in charge here.
Yes, Mr. Chambers.
Is Ralph Hardwood at home?
Well, yes, he is.
All right, then, my dear lady magician. A favor, please.
Yes?
Make yourself disappear. And tell Mr. Hardwood to stay in his room, and you stay in yours. We'll come to you in due course.
All right, sir. If you say so.
And now you're alone again with a corpse and Mr. Bill Craig sporting around under the name of Brown in a theatrical boarding house in New York. Bill Craig, tall, rugged, shrewd, and rotten as a wormy apple.
Any questions, Peeper?
Oh, a lot of them, pal.
Well, as you know, I'm hiding out from a little heat in New Orleans. So I'm here as Bill Brown, retired actor. That's a crime?
I don't know. Maybe it ain't. But what's with jumping me and tussling for that gun?
Simple. It's my gun.
Hey, that's a pretty frantic admission for a wise guy. That figures to be the heat of that deheated Our Lady here.
I got the same figure.
So?
It's my gun, period. Took a look at my suitcase a couple of minutes ago. My gun was lifted. And I'm coming down past this open door, see the dead dame, see you with a gun, and it begins to add. Maybe I lost my head. But I can't use trouble, brother. And how I can't use trouble.
Where were you this evening?
Took in a movie. Lousy one. Cops and robbers.
When'd you get back?
About a half an hour ago. Ask Miss Doyle. I called down for coffee maybe 5 minutes after I got in.
You know anything about a little black bag?
Yeah, sure.
Know what was in it?
100,000 cash bucks.
How do you know?
Everybody in this house knows.
Look, Bill, you didn't kill this dame, did you?
No. But I got a hunch that whoever did used my gun to make it look like I did.
This, Joan Bradly, did she know about that little black bag?
I told you, everybody knows.
What am I wasting my time with you for? I can get the same information and she's prettier.
It's your time, people.
You get Bill Craig back to his room, admonish him that a run-out powder would be a clean admission of guilt, and then you mosey along to Miss Joan Bradly, who keeps growing on you by leaps and bounds.
Come in, Mr. Chambers. Make yourself at home.
Hey, you're awfully pretty. I wish I had the time.
So do I.
Really?
Well, you're sort of pretty yourself.
Well, let's make a date then.
For when?
As soon as this thing is over.
You twisted my arm, Mr. Chambers. I sort of like the way you twist arms.
Okay, then, let's get back to cases. What's with the little black bag?
Oh, well, we were talking about it at dinner today, all of us.
Where?
Here, downstairs. Miss Doyle was serving.
All right. Let's have it, huh?
Well, it begins with Olga Dino. Fine, sweet woman.
About how old?
Oh, about 45. She had $100,000 in a vault, and tomorrow morning at 9, she was taking the ship to return to Italy. They were going to be married on board ship.
They? Who's the they?
Olga and Ralph Hardwood.
Same guy that lives here?
Yeah, they met here. Young English actor.
So?
So, she drew the money out of the vault today. She was taking it with her, and she had it in that little black bag.
Everybody in the house knew about it?
Oh, that was Olga, sweet and trusting. That was the way she was. Never had a bad word for anybody, never a bad thought. She felt that the money was just as safe here as in the bank vault, but Mary, Miss Doyle, kept after her all day.
Kept after her how?
Well, Mary Doyle insisted that Olga hire somebody, sort of a custodian, bodyguard, somebody properly trained and equipped to act as custodian until tomorrow morning when they got to the ship. She kept after her all day.
And by nighttime, she probably convinced her.
Meaning what?
Meaning me.
I don't understand.
It will be explained to you. There'll be lots of cops here shortly. Uh-huh.
Meet Chambers, come on down here.
Downstairs, the place is crawling with cops. Detective Lieutenant Louis Parker, friend and gentleman, is in charge. Louis is involved in the interrogation of Miss Mary Doyle and a fine-looking young man who turns out to be Ralph Harwood. You turn the gun over to Louis, and you bring him up to date on your end of the affair, and then he returns to his questioning.
Well, two things we got established definitely. The dame is dead, and that bag of loot ain't in the house. That's definite. Now, you, Hardwood.
Yes, Lieutenant.
That Olga Dino was 15 years older than you. Was it love or was it money?
Love, Lieutenant.
Was the dame 15 years older than you?
Oh, she was younger than any of us, Lieutenant.
All right, with the lieutenant. Let's not make with the metaphors, huh? Were you out of the house tonight?
Yes, Lieutenant. I was visiting my sister. Got back about 3/4 of an hour ago.
After the rain started?
Yes, sir, after the rain started.
Miss Doyle?
Yes, Lieutenant.
What about that Joan Bradly? Was she out too?
She was at a rehearsal. She returned about 15 minutes before I called Mr. Chambers.
Everybody was out in the rain tonight, huh?
Except me.
You sure there were no strangers around here?
Very sure. I wasn't out of the house for a minute.
Cassidy, get the rest of them down here. Well, soon the whole quorum will be gathered. Pete, come over here. Huh? You and me alone. So, what do you make of it?
I don't make a thing yet, Lieutenant.
Crazy artists carrying their loot in a bag, begging to get knocked off.
It figures that Bill Craig's gun was a weapon.
Oh, I'm sure of that. 3 bullets out of the gun, 3 in the dame, but he's already produced a license for it, so don't give us no office to hold him. Yet.
You think he killed for 100 G's? You know, he's pretty much of a big shot.
Never tell with them. Any of them.
Well, how do you make it?
Well, the facts we've got, Mary Doyle is calling you. But somebody doesn't want a bodyguard around. So she gets conked on the cranium, put out of commission, then that Olga gets knocked off, and the bag of loot is stolen. Gets taken out of the house. Our murderer returns before Miss Doyle recovers consciousness, joins the rest of the boys and the girls.
Yeah.
Then you show up, and the deal busts wide open. There's the rest of them. Let me go and make a speech.
Speech away, Lieutenant.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going downtown to the lab to see what the science boys may have dug out for me, but my cops stay here. Is that understood?
Sure. Yes, Lieutenant.
All right, nobody leaves. It's clear?
What about me, Lieutenant?
Sooner you leave, the less trouble we're likely to get into.
Now, Lieutenant, you're beginning to sound like a lieutenant. No objection to my moseying around a little, is there?
No objection, provided you report your findings to Papa, and I'm Papa.
Yes, sir, Papa.
Well, bye now, everybody. Try to act like good little murderers.
Well, now, the first step in the moseying around department. Anybody hear the shot?
Oh, that would have been quite impossible, Mr. Chambers.
How do you know my name?
Miss Doyle told me.
Now, let Miss Doyle tell the rest. Why would it be impossible to hear a shot, Miss Doyle?
Because I've been soundproofing the house. It's a theatrical boarding house.
Yes. Step number 2. Are all of you dressed as you've been dressed, say, for the last couple of hours?
Well, yes, of course. Of course we are.
Good. Now, step number 3. Get your shoes off. All of you.
Oh, really?
Now, look here, old man. It's a rather high-handed procedure, don't you think?
Shoes off, all of you. Under the supervision of the good officer here, Mr. Cassidy. Now, come on. Off there. And lay them there on the table. Good, that's good. Very good.
And what now, sir?
And now you all go upstairs, each of you to your respective room. Come on. Off you go, my barefooted brigade. Come on, let's go.
Really, a most high-handed procedure.
And so, under the rather astonished eyes of Parker's policemen, you do the old Sherlock. You examine the shoes. You feel them, you touch them, you bend them, and you put them back. Then you wriggle into your raincoat and you wave goodbye to the taciturn gentlemen of the law. See you around, fellas. And remember the lieutenant's orders. Nobody comes, nobody goes, except me. And now you're walking in the rain, trying to think. An idea is beginning to glimmer in your mind, and you're waiting for it to catch fire. Then a block away, you see a subway station, and a fire in your head has started. You jog down the subway steps, but you're not going anywhere. You've got no train to catch. And downstairs, you see an object of interest. A tall section of public lockers. You go near and insert your dime, but you don't check a thing. Then you prance up the stairs and you make for the nearest tavern and a couple of drinks, but this time they have a purpose to ward off pneumonia because you're wet through and through. And then you're back in the boarding house and you're greeted.
Well, the return of Sherlock Holmes.
Parker's got them all downstairs again, but none of them are wearing their shoes yet. My orders.
Look, my dear friend, I like my murder suspects wearing shoes, if it's all right with you.
It's not all right with me. Not yet, Lieutenant.
Boy, when a private eye goes nuts, it's a matter for the paddy way.
Look, I'm just trying to put two and two together, Lou.
You certainly got a crazy way of adding, boy.
I'm attempting to produce the murder of Algodino.
Well, produce away, detective. Pray, don't let me interrupt.
Well, sir, first off, we've got motive.
100,000 motives, all green, and all stuffed into a little black bag.
Right. Also, we've got a small but select group.
Granted. So when do we produce some murder?
Gently, Lieutenant, gently. Come here. Dig these shoes.
Jay, I'm a hipster. I dig these shoes. The most.
Notice? They're all damp.
What did you expect them to be? Dry? It's pouring out, remember?
Contain yourself, Lieutenant.
I am contained.
All right, let's get back to the beginning. Mary Doyle called me on the phone. Purpose? To protect Algodino's little black bag.
Yeah, and the killer heard her and had to act fast. He slugged her, then knocked off the opera singer, then clipped the bag all before you got here. How long did it take?
About 10 minutes.
Okay, so what's with the damp shoes?
Joan Bradley's figured to be damp.
And mine, didn't they? Didn't mine?
Why don't you...
No. He's right, Lieutenant. His figured to be damp, too. And so did Bill Craig's. They were all out in the rain. But not Mary Doyle.
What?
You weren't out of the house. Were you, Miss Doyle? That's what you told the lieutenant, remember? Not for a minute, not you.
What are you trying to say?
I'm asking you to explain why were your shoes wet.
Now, look, you're not going to push me around with your smart aleck private cop politics. Maybe the shoes are wet. So what? I got a leaky pipe in the kitchen. The floor is damp. Oh, that's a hot one. Explanations for wet shoes.
Look, your shoes are wet from the rain.
That's a lie.
Were you out in the rain, Miss Doyle?
Absolutely not.
Oh, yes, she was.
Can you prove it, Pete?
Certainly I can prove it.
But she's the one that called you. The one who was most worried about that opera singer and her loot.
Strictly a cover-up, Lieutenant. Let me do it right side up for you. First, she knocked off Algodino up there with the door closed in a soundproof room. And then she called me.
Lie!
Either you be good, lady, or I'm going to have to put you under restraint. Let me get you straight, Pete. According to you, she sort of conked herself on the head, You found her like that, supposed to be uncut.
And she made sure to leave the outside door unlocked so I could get in.
And you got here during that 10-minute period from the time she called.
That's when she got her shoesies all wet.
You're going to have to prove those statements, Mr. Wise Guy, because I'm going to sue you. I'm going to drag you into court and teach you a lesson. It's about time one of you guys got a lesson.
Shut up, lady. Will you please shut up? Now, wait a minute, Pete. About the shoes, she could have changed them, couldn't she?
No, she couldn't. They're lounging shoes that go with her outfit. If she changed her shoes, she'd have to change the entire getup. She simply didn't have the time. Remember? 10 minutes.
So?
So she wiped the shoes as best she could, which left them damp.
Yeah.
She had to work fast in those 10 minutes. While you were down the lab with your bright boys, Lieutenant, I was out in the rain figuring angles.
What did you come up with?
A subway station.
What?
There's a subway station a block from here. Downstairs, they've got a flock of those dime parcel check boxes. Now, that figured to be the closest drop. Remember, she was in a hurry, so she checked the little black bag.
That's a lie.
Oh.
Check boxes have little keys. I got no key. Search me. Search the house.
There'd be no key here.
Backing down, huh? Figured I'd break down under your phony third degree.
You want to know why?
Why what?
Why there's no key here?
Yeah. Why? Tell me why.
Because I've got it. See? Right here. In my hand.
What the heck is all this about?
She used the oldest gag in the world. Probably thought it was new because she dreamed it up. They all do.
Who all do?
Amateur criminals. Sure, she didn't keep the check key on a person. Too risky. Instead, she put it in an envelope and she mailed it to herself.
The old maileroo.
It's a lie.
Miss Doyle, you made one mistake. Under certain circumstances, mail can be intercepted. And that's exactly what's been done. You see this key? That's the final bit of evidence that's going to fasten you to the electric chair. For murder. The rest is easy. A bit of expert prodding from Parker, and she breaks down, and they cart her away. The police open that panel of lockers and find a little black bag. Downtown, she confesses that she mailed the check key to herself, care of an aunt in Brooklyn. And 1 hour later, you and Miss Joan Bradly are at your place, munching corned beef sandwiches and drinking beer. You've kissed her a couple of times, but you've gotten very little response. So you ask why.
Because when my mind is troubled, I can't concentrate on kissing.
But what's troubling you?
That malarkey about intercepting the United States mail.
Malarkey is precisely correct. Mary Doyle was a type who would fight back until you had her convinced. Even if they found the bag in that locker, they still have to tie it up with her. So I had to dream up a ruse to convince her.
But where'd you get the key?
That wasn't the key. It was a key. But of exactly the same type, out of exactly the same group of check boxes. I went there, I paid a dime, I checked nothing, and came away with a convincer.
Very good. Very good indeed.
Thank you.
And for all that work, not even a fee.
Well, everything isn't measured in dollars, my sweet.
You've got all the right answers. Come here.
Your mind still troubled?
No, sir. Not a trouble in the world.
Can you concentrate now?
Try. Find out. Pete, there's one more.
Quiet, please. Man of work.
And there you've had Crime and Peter Chambers. Dane Clark was starred as Peter Chambers. Crime and Peter Chambers Transcribed was created and written by Henry King. Bill Zuckert was heard as Lieutenant Parker with Bryna Rayburn and William Griffiths. It was directed by Fred Way. And this is Fred Collins inviting you to tune in next week, same time, same station,
for Dane Clark in Crime and Peter Chambers.
This is the NBC Radio Network.
Crime and Peter Chambers. Created by Henry Kane, transcribed and starring Dane Clark. A private investigator, duly licensed and duly sworn, Peter Chambers.
You're a private eye. That's your business. Anything else, that's for laughs. This one figures for laughs, a lot of laughs. Because you're making yourself comfortable on a bar stool and you're asking for...
What'll it be, Mac?
Milk.
Milk?
You heard me, pal.
Yes, sir. Milk it is.
It's a great, big, beautiful bar. The Peacock Room. And down at the far end sits a blonde. Quite a blonde. You like the beige suit and the scarlet blouse and the long beige gloves and the swell of the blonde hair on her shoulders. You like the queer cut of her eyes upswept at the edges and the green from where you sit. You like the curved red wet lips and the clean line of the eyebrows. But best of all, you like the glass of milk that's sitting there in front of her.
What's with the milk today, Mac?
Search me.
You want to chase it? Maybe heavy cream, homogenized?
Do me a favor, pal.
Yeah?
Go be funny somewhere else. Will you please?
Well, sure, Mac. No offense. You know how it is. Milk.
The bartender toddles off, and the blonde, pushing off her bar stool, toddles forward. Toward you. Sitting as she was with the bar hiding half of her, you've been wondering about her legs. Now you cease wondering. No complaints.
Are you Peter Chambers?
That's me, lady, doing a workout in the latest bottle-fed formula.
On my request.
Yes, ma'am, and if I'd have known it was you who was requesting it, I'd have really gone to town. Double milk.
I want to talk to you somewhere alone.
No objections to that. We're somewhere alone.
My place. How's that?
Fine, if you tell me where your place is.
Hotel Baldwin, Suite 518.
Good enough. We go now?
No, I'll go first. You come there about 5 minutes.
Oh, real mystery-like, huh? Well, I suppose that's the kind of business I'm in. One slight, unimportant bit of information.
Yes?
What's your name?
Abilgail Christenberry. See you later, then.
You fiddle with the milk, giving her 5 minutes. Then you hustle out of there and make for the Hotel Baldwin. The elevator takes you up to 5, and you're at Suite 518.
Well, Mr. Peter Chambers.
You're in a fancy sitting room. Abilgail Christenberry looks just the same. Beige suit, scarlet blouse, beige gloves, only in these more intimate surroundings, she looks twice as good.
Will you have a drink, Mr. Peter Chambers?
I will, Miss Abilgail Christenberry. Only if it's milk, I pass.
No, I think the milk routine is getting boring, though it had its purpose. You like scotch?
Scotch I love.
Good. Scotch, then, for both of us.
She sets up the drinks neat. Whiskey in a shot glass and a tall glass of soda on the side.
One combination for you, one combination for her. Then you're sitting opposite her across a coffee table, and you're both sipping your drinks and sort of, staring. So, just to shake it up, she drops a little bombshell.
I've changed my mind, Mr. Chambers.
You've changed your mind about what?
About retaining you.
Oh?
There's no longer any need of your service.
Huh? Fired before you get hired. Everything happens to the private eye.
Here you are, sir, for your trouble.
$100 bill. Well, that's most generous of you, dear lady.
Now then, good afternoon, Mr. Peter Chambers.
And a very good afternoon to you, Miss Abilgail Christenberry. So, with the $100 bill clutched in your little hot hand, you go back to the office and attend to business. You could have refused a scene note, but a lady's got to pay some kind of a penalty for having a guy sit around drinking milk at a cocktail bar. Anyway, you dismiss her as some kind of a gorgeous crackpot. But she doesn't stay dismissed, because you're home that evening experimenting with imported Swedish herring and well-buttered pumpernickel bread when...
Evening, Pete.
Ah, Louis Parker.
May I come in?
Detective Lieutenant Louis Parker, New York City Police, homicide. Good cop, good man, and good friend.
Spending the evening in, Peter?
I was hoping to, Louis, but in my business, no. Drink, Lieutenant?
No, thanks. I got gas.
Hunk of herring, maybe?
Same gas. Got a little heartburn, too.
Well, how's about some bicarb?
Look, you know a dame by name Abilgail Christenberry?
Oh, not half as well as I'd like to.
Well, you ain't gonna.
Why not?
She's dead.
Dead?
Abilgail Christenberry, dead. And, my boy, they've got you tagged for it.
Me?
It's my case, Pete, and you'll notice I come alone. Now, if you've got an out, brother, I'd be the happiest guy in the world.
Out? What the heck do I need an out for? I didn't kill her.
Well, Pete, the maid comes to Suite 518. It's about 7 o'clock. Miss Abigail is under the bed in a kimono with the back of her head belted in, her face mashed up, but bad. You wouldn't know it was a face.
Well, what's that got to do with me?
First off, we find your name and address in her pocketbook.
Well, that's evidence.
Gives us a peg, so we hang our hat on it. Glasses on the coffee table have fingerprints. We've got your prints on file downtown. We match them. They match.
Well, is this evidence of murder?
There's more, fella.
More?
The medical examiner says she got it between 4 and 5 this afternoon. We described you to the elevator operator, and sure enough, you were there at about 4:30.
Look, Louis, I can explain that.
Can you explain this? Can you explain her diary?
Diary?
For the past 8 months, it's about a guy named Pete. That's all. Guy named Pete. About how cute he was, about how in love they were, and then what a louse he is. How he's strictly working her for money, and finally that she's scared of him because he's threatening her. Now, we call that evidence. What do you call it?
Evidence. Circumstantial, but evidence nonetheless.
Pete, were you there at 4:30?
Yes.
Well, give me your side of the story. Did you know the day?
Yes.
Stop agreeing with me. Come on, talk it up. Let me hear.
Lieutenant, listen. This morning at the office, I get a phone call, a dame, no name. She tells me she's got a case for me to meet her at the Peacock Bar at 4 o'clock.
All right, so you go to the Peacock Bar. What do you do there?
I drink milk.
Milk? Oh, now, look, this is Louis Parker you're talking. A milk drinker, you ain't.
Look, it was a way we'd identify ourselves. She'd be drinking milk, I'd be drinking milk.
All right.
Anyway, she talks to me. She wants a 5-minute head start, and then I'm to meet her at her hotel, Suite 518.
And?
I get there, must be, 4:30. We have a couple of drinks, and then she bounces me. She says she changed her mind.
And that's your story?
That's it.
And you better get your hat. We're going downtown. I'll have to book you.
Look, Louis, why do you have...
Because we got affidavits, Pete, from all the help in the hotel.
Affidavits? Well, what do they say?
They say that Abilgail Christenberry did not leave her apartment today. All day. Not once.
It was crazy, but it could jam you. If Louis takes you downtown, the DA's machinery jolts into action. With what they can prove, the grand jury will squirt an indictment at you faster than you could fall off a ferry boat. And suddenly you've got it.
What is it, Pete? I hope it's good.
Louis. Look, you found my fingerprints on a shot glass of whiskey and a tall glass of soda.
Right.
And opposite that, there was another shot glass of whiskey and another glass of soda, and somebody been using them.
Right.
But you found no fingerprints on that second set. Now, how do I know that?
Yeah. How do you know?
Because the story I told you is true. The dame was wearing a suit and gloves, and she didn't take the gloves off.
Yeah. If the dame hadn't been out all day like they told me, and she's found the kimono with her face bashed in, why should she be wearing gloves?
That's the only logical explanation for her lack of fingerprints, isn't it?
That's very good, Pete. I'm glad I came alone. I'm glad I had confidence in you. All right, now what?
Now we go down to the Peacock Bar, so I can straighten you out on some of the truth.
Peacock Bar it is.
You slip on your holster and you clip your gun into it, and then you're riding across town in Parker's car. On the way you ask questions, and Parker supplies the answers.
Abilgail Christenberry, a very rich widow worth millions. No family at all except one guy, a brother named Timothy York.
Timothy York, huh?
Yep.
And he inherits the millions, is that it?
He inherits, all right, but he's clear, Pete. He works for an ice cream company, but he worked all day. He even had his lunch sent in. There's an office staff of 30 people can back it up.
What kind of a guy?
Well, he's a mousy little type. Pretty old, too. Maybe 65. A rather young wife. No children. But we've already cut him out as a suspect. He just couldn't have done it. Physically impossible. 30 full-grown witnesses. Here's your Peacock Bar.
Yes, sir, gentlemen. What'll it be?
Scotch on two.
Hello.
Well, the milk drinker. Hiya, Mac.
Hi.
My friend drinks milk, huh?
Good way to cushion yourself for a bender. Drink milk in the afternoon.
Go on, tell him about the other milk drinker.
Other milk drinker?
Yeah, the dame. The beige suit, scarlet blouse, beige gloves.
Dame. We get $1 million.
No, this was a special one. Beautiful blonde. She was sitting up there at the bar. She came and talked to me. She was drinking milk.
I'm behind this bar from 10 to 10, 12 hours. You go out of your mind if you start picking out dames. It's like a rancher with 100 head of cattle. You can't pick out every cow.
Try. It's important.
Well, I'm trying, Mac. Believe me, but it ain't no use. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's get out of here.
So you're back in Parker's car trying to swallow that helpless, hopeless feeling.
Where to now, kiddo?
Figure I ought to visit Timothy York?
He's been visited.
Well, let me try.
Sure, kid, it's your party.
And you stay downstairs.
Like I said, it's your party, Pete.
It's a nice enough house, apartment 9G, and you stick your finger in the buzzer. Little guy opens the door. Little old guy that looks like he's falling apart, skinny as a pencil.
Yes, what can I do for you, sir?
Timothy York?
The same.
Chambers Police.
But the police have already been here several times.
And once more can't hurt.
True enough. Well, come in, sir. Please come in.
Hey, nice place you have here.
Yeah, thank you.
How about your sister, Abilgail Christenberry? Know any of her friends?
No, we were never very chummy, Abigail and I.
Is that the taxi man, Timothy?
No, dear.
A woman comes into the room. She's blonde and she's beautiful. She's got a clean line of eyebrow and red, wet lips and green eyes upswept at the edges. Your hair begins to crinkle and you can feel the sweat break out on your body because, according to Parker, you're looking at a corpse. The lady who comes into the room is Abilgail Christenberry.
Timothy, I thought you said it wasn't the... Sir, are you the taxi man?
No. The milkman.
Timothy, what's he talking about?
He's from the police.
Police? Again? Timothy, will you please close my suitcases in the bedroom? They're stuffed so full I can't do a thing with them.
Certainly, dear.
And now that we're alone, Mrs. York, remember me? Peter Chambers?
Peter Chambers? Never heard of you.
Ever hear of Abilgail Christenberry?
Of course. Abigail Christenberry is my husband's sister, and she's dead.
How would you know this?
From the police. They've been here several times.
I see. Now, what's with this stuff about suitcases?
I'm leaving for Florida. It's been planned for a long time. I'm leaving tonight. Right now, as a matter of fact.
The cops know about that?
Of course. And they've absolutely no objection. I've been completely cooperative with them, and they have no need of me. They have the address where I'm going, if by chance I am needed.
Your husband going?
No, he's not. He's saving his vacation for much later on, and we intend to go to Switzerland, to the Alps. Now, is there anything else?
That's all. Tell your husband goodbye for me. Back in the police car, you bestow a kiss on the damp and untranquil forehead of Detective Lieutenant Parker.
Hey, what's that for?
For having confidence in me and for having patience and for playing ball.
Okay, ball player. Who's up now?
You.
How do you make that, Pete?
Mrs. Timothy York is coming out any minute. She's on her way to Florida.
I know.
Only she's not going.
Who's stopping?
You are.
Oh, now what?
Look. When she comes out, you pick her up and bring her to one of the precinct station houses for further questioning or anything else you want to dream up. But just see to it she's detained.
You sure you know what you're doing, Pete?
I'm positive. Just play along with me a little longer and we're liable to knock one right out of the ballpark. Mrs. Timothy York comes out, and Parker does the old pickup, suitcase and all. She gets hustled down to the nearest station house, gets racked up for further questioning, and then you and Parker are rolling again.
Okay, fella, what now?
What time is it, Louis?
It's almost 10.
Peacock Bar.
Again?
The Peacock Bar, Louis.
Now, look, we keep hitting that joint. Both of us are liable to wind up loaded.
We're not going in this time.
No? What are we going to do? Sit and stare through the window and watch the others drink?
We're going to wait for that bartender. He says he quits at 10 o'clock.
And then?
And then he and I are going for a ride or a walk or something. But wherever we go, I expect you to be close by. And if we go in somewhere, I expect you to be sitting around in your nice little police car just in case an emergency pops. He stops the car near the Peacock Bar. You shift your .38 in the holster to your side pocket. You get out of the car and you wear out the sidewalk in front of the fancy tavern until High Shoulders come strolling out. Okay, Dimples.
Huh? What do you want?
The lump in my pocket is a gun, and I'll use it if you make me.
Well, sure.
You understand about guns?
Yeah, I understand.
Fine. Now, where are you heading?
Home.
How do we go? You heard me. We walk.
Stay by.
You walk to a nice-looking apartment house, and up one flight he unlocks the door, and you don't wait. Just as soon as he clicks the light on, you smash the flat of the gun against the side of his face. You get a lot of feeling. It opens a hunk of his face, but he's a big guy and strong, and he comes back swinging. Maybe he's good, maybe he's lucky, but he catches you one on the chin that lands you up against the opposite wall. But you're still holding the gun. And then you hear the click of the switchblade, and you see him throw it, and you roll over, and the knife makes a gong of the wall. You reach for it, and you sit there like a cockeyed arsenal, a gun in your right hand and a knife in your left. And you see him come at you, and there's no other way. You aim it low. Catches him in the thigh, it knocks him over. The rest is easy. Okay, pal. It's talking time.
Are you
What's your name?
Ryan.
First name.
What's it to you?
Look, Ryan, it's murder we're fiddling around with, and when you fiddle with murder, you play it rough, like this. Now, let's do it nice, huh? What's your first name?
Peter.
Peter. Just like mine, huh?
I don't know what your name is.
That's a lie. Now, let's play the name game some more. Let's try Mrs. Timothy York.
I never heard of her.
That's not what she says.
What?
Just in case you think she's on her way to Florida, give another think.
But
she's
where?
in the pokey, pal, talking her brains out. Well, why do you think I've come after you? She sent me.
She did it?
She says it was all your idea, that she says that you're number one. She's using a method. If you are number one, you get the chair and she gets off light. Now, whose idea was it?
Hers. Hers, the dirty...
He spills the story like he's leaking words. Then you go down for Parker and you bring him upstairs. And you also bring him up to date on current events. Meet Mr. Ryan, Lieutenant. Peter Ryan. That's the Peter that was mentioned in Abigail's diary.
What, the bartender?
Yeah, Dimples over here. Our rich widow, Abilgail Christenberry, sort of got stuck on him. But then he got tired of her, especially after he met her sister-in-law, Mrs. Timothy York.
Who murdered Christenberry?
Mrs. Timothy York. But she figured out a real cutie.
Like how?
Well, they knew about Abigail's diary, where she mentions Pete. So they look up the classified directory on the private detective, which is often confused for fall guy. And the first Peter they come to is me, Peter Chambers.
And they elect you the patsy.
Correct. First, Mrs. Timothy York kills Abigail, mashes her face in, so I won't know the difference. Then she meets me at the Peacock on that milk deal. Then I'm to follow her right into the trap. She uses the stairs coming and going so no one sees her. But me, I use the elevator. Everybody sees me.
Which puts you at the scene of the crime, which leaves your fingerprints all over the place, and which confuses you with the Pete in Abigail's diary.
And the dead Abigail is in the bedroom, dead for at least a half hour, with her face all smashed up.
Then after you get bounced out, Mrs. Timothy York blows the joint using the stairs again, and nobody can connect her with the crime. And you think Mrs. Timothy York is really Abigail, and you can't tell the difference because the real Abigail is now minus a face. Huh?
Sure, and with Mrs. Timothy York in Florida, I'd be in it up to my neck.
Yeah, but if these two knock off Abigail, what do they get out of it? Mr. York inherits.
Mrs. York planned a trip to Switzerland with Mr. York. Mr. York would never have come back from there. He'd have tripped on an Alp or something. Then she'd get all the loot, and she'd hook up with Dimples here, and they'd both live happily ever after. So your namesake gets booked downtown, and Mrs. York gets booked downtown. And they both accuse each other, which gives the cops a double confession. And then you and Louis Parker are sort of celebrating on the late shift at the Peacock Bar, and Parker is saying,
"Oh, Pete, old boy, how did it come to you?"
"Oh, you're a good friend. That's how it came to me. You gave me a chance to run around a little bit. I saw Mrs. York, which I couldn't have if she'd beat it for Florida. And the minute I see her, I realize I'm in the middle of a frame job. Mrs. Timothy York, who told me she was Abilgail Christenberry.
And you tie that up with a bartender that forgets one of two milk customers in the same afternoon.
He remembered me. How could he forget her?
So the moral of the story is, don't lose patience and don't lose confidence in a friend, even if you're a cop.
It's got another moral, Lieutenant.
And that is?
Don't drink milk at a whiskey bar. Not unless you've got an ulcer.
And there you've had Crime and Peter Chambers. Dane Clark was starred as Peter Chambers.
Crime and Peter Chambers Transcribed was created and written by Henry King. Others in the cast were Bill Zuckert, heard as Lieutenant Parker, Elaine Ross as Mrs. York, and Joe DeSantis as the bartender. It was directed by Fred Way. This is Fred Collins inviting you to tune in next week, same time, same station, for Dane Clark in Crime and Peter Chambers.
Hello there, this is James Stewart. I'd like to take a minute of your time, if I may, to remind you about our weekly program series, The Six Shooter. It's now on Thursday evenings over many of these same NBC stations. You know, The Six Shooter is a kind of a different type Western program. I think maybe you'd like it. As Brett Ponce it, I'm a sort of an easygoing cowpoke. Just a sort of a cowpoke. No, now, don't get me wrong. You'll hear gunplay now and then, and some action, too, on the six-shooter. Even a little fun sometime. And we like to think of our program as the kind that will please every one of you. And from your letters, well, they've been all very nice. So if you haven't already been listening, why don't you check your local paper for the time the six-shooter is heard in your part of the country? We sure would like to have you in our audience every week.
Crime and Peter Chambers. Created by Henry Kane, transcribed and starring Dane Clark. A private investigator, duly licensed and duly sworn, Peter Chambers.
You're a private eye. That's your business. Anything else? That's for laughs. And a lot of laughs tonight. You were pub crawling, doing the visiting fireman bit at the taverns and bistros. You're on your way home now, and you're going to stop off at Krause's newsstand for the papers. Old man Krause, he's been there as long as you can remember. And then you see the commotion. Somebody's working the old man over, beating him to the ground. You get there as fast as you can.
It's you, Mr. Chambers. Thanks the Lord.
Easy does it, Mr. Krause. Come here. Come on, let me help you up. Up. There you are.
Did you see him, Mr. Chambers? Did you see who it was?
No, he ran off as he saw me coming. Did you get a look at him, Mr. Krause?
No, I was just close. He hit me from behind, and then he jumped me.
But why you? Where does a man like you fit in with a beating?
Oh, it was more than that, Mr. Chambers. More than a beating.
What are you talking about?
Whoever it was wanted to kill me.
Why, you're a peaceful man, Mr. Krause. The thoughtful, peaceful, philosophical man. Everybody loves you.
It seems not everybody.
Well, look, I'm going home with you. No. I'm taking you home.
You need not bother, Mr. Chambers. I am not afraid.
Oh, come along now, Mr. Krause. Come on.
Thank you. You are very kind.
He doesn't live far, and he's none the worse for his experience. And you get him home, and he's fumbling with the key and the old-fashioned lock.
So these old eyes are not what they used to be. There. Please follow me, Mr. Chambers. I will put the light on.
But he doesn't have a chance to put the light on. Neither of you have a chance to do a thing. The guy who was inside waiting for Krause, he was in a dark room, but he was facing the light of the hallway. And that was all to the good. He couldn't see much of you or of Krause, just your silhouettes, but you could see him. And better than that, you recognized him. Maybe Krause didn't know who his assailant was, but you did. Well, he's gotten clean away, so there's nothing to do now but find the light switch and look to Mr. Krause. Come on, Mr. Krause. Mr. Krause. All right?
Yeah.
Now, look, I'll get a towel and some water.
Yeah.
Just stay where you are.
Sure.
Right there on the floor.
Sure.
I don't think you're hurt very badly. Yeah. It's not
nothing. It's nothing at all. It's a scratch, a bullet crease. You're as good as new. Once more, let me help you up. Be my guest.
Yes. Lucky, pretty lucky. Twice in one night. And I'm still around to talk about it. I will sit here.
Good.
Why somebody should want to kill me? Maybe a month ago, but not now.
What's that? A month ago what?
You ever hear of Big Benny Larson?
Who hasn't? Big Benny, Big Goon.
Well, there was a fight one night in front of my newsstand. Big Benny knifed a man, Mr. Snuffnose Angelino. I saw it all.
Oh?
While Mr. Snuffnose was in the hospital and they were wondering whether he would live, the police assigned protection to me because I was the only witness. Then Mr. Snuffnose pulled through and he didn't press charges, and Big Benny was released and the protection of police was taken away. There's no reason anymore for Big Benny to harm me.
Then who else?
I have no idea, Mr. Chambers.
Look, you ever hear of the dancer?
The dancer?
Slick Hood from Chicago. His name is Danzig or something, but they call him the dancer.
I have never been to Chicago, Mr.
One of those tall, slender, handsome guys. Beautiful, but deadly as the front end of a loaded gun. Oh, murder that one for the lady.
But what does this have to do with...
Nothing. Just started a train of thought. Now, look, Mr. Krause, you're going to the police with this.
No. I've had enough of
wait
police.
a minute.
I have a gun and a license
Now, listen,
I am not afraid. It is only that I do not understand it.
Do you have a family, Mr. Krause?
Just a daughter, an adopted daughter, Irene. She is married now to a lawyer, Frank Buckley.
Well, you're going to tell her about this?
No.
Why not?
Well, we are not really friends anymore. She has gone away from me. I hardly see her anymore.
Well, you mind if I talk with her?
Well, I cannot stop you.
Well, that sort of wraps it up, I suppose. Look, I'm getting out of here, Mr. Krause, but you bolt that door after me and use that gun if you have to.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chambers. And please, do not worry about me.
But you do worry. You go home and you try to sleep, but it tampers with your dreams. Where's the connection? Why should a doll boy like the dancer be looking to eradicate a peaceful citizen? The old man said he never heard of him, and you believe Krause. You sleep finally, but it's like sleeping under a winking neon light. And in the morning, you're looking up an address in the phone book. Frank Buckley. It's on 57th Street, and it turns out to be a combination of home and office. A lawyer that's plugging at his business, nothing more. No rich, big estate guy.
Yes, Mr. Chambers, please sit down. Make yourself comfortable.
Frank Buckley. Bald, thin, angular, 50-ish. A lot of loose skin hanging under his jowls.
Would you like a cigarette, Mr. Chambers?
No, thank you. Not now. Mr. Buckley, it's really your wife I want to talk to.
So? Why?
Well, sir, I'm a private detective.
Private detective?
Well, this is not in the line of business. I'm a friend of an elderly gentleman, a Mr. Krause.
Oh, yes. My wife's father.
Well, an attempt was made on his life last night. He won't go to the police with it, and I thought perhaps if I talked with Krause's daughter, your wife...
My wife and I have been separated for the past 6 months.
Oh?
She's already instituted a divorce proceeding.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But in a matter like this, she's now living at Eastburn Apartments on 74th.
Oh, thank you, sir.
How is the old man?
Working, as always.
Well, he won't have to work long. He'll be quite independent in a short...
Old man Krause, independent? You mean rich or something? How come?
I'm sorry. Slip of the tongue, sir. Matter of my profession. Attorney and client. Privileged communication.
Okay with me. All I wanted to know is where I could reach Irene, Mrs. Buckley.
Yes, of course. And if there's anything I can do for the old gentleman, please don't hesitate.
All right, then. Good morning, Mr. Buckley.
And a very good morning to you, sir.
Next stop, Eastburn Apartments. Not too swanky, not too slummy. About in the middle. But the occupant of apartment 7G. Nothing in the middle about that one. The word is gorgeous. Not soft gorgeous or mushy gorgeous, but hard like granite. Glittering gorgeous, like a diamond. But gorgeous nonetheless.
Well, ain't you the handsome one?
Mrs. Buckley?
I'm using my maiden name. Irene Cordoni.
I thought it was Krause.
Should have been, but it ain't. I was in show business before I got married. How would you like this? And now, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Irene Krause.
Black hair, black eyes, and a loose red mouth. Young and quite a figure. She's wearing high-heel lounging shoes, white shorts, and a white bandana. And that's about it.
Like a drink, Mr.
Chambers? Peter Chambers?
Would you like a little drinky, handsome?
Well, it's a little too early in the morning for me.
Oh?
Look, Miss Cordoni. I wish you'd talk to your father.
My father?
Your foster father.
Oh. What's with him?
A couple of attempts were made on his life last night.
The old man?
Somebody near to him ought to tell him one of two things.
Like what?
Either he goes to the police, or he kind of stays holed up, at least until this thing clears.
What's your interest?
I'm a friend.
Well, if you're such a good friend, why don't you tell him?
I've told him, but he's stubborn.
Stubborn with you, stubborn with me. Furthermore, the old man and I, well, we kind of don't see eye to eye anymore.
When'd you see him last?
I haven't seen him since I broke up with my husband. Maybe 6 months. Been in Chicago, maybe 5 months of that. Only got back a few weeks ago.
I still think you ought to talk to him.
Quite a busybody, aren't you?
Well, some say yes, some say no.
But you're cute, I'll say that. You know, I'm a sucker for a good-looking man. Are you sure you won't join me in a drink?
Some other time, sister.
Oh, make it soon, brother.
Sure.
I'll be expecting you.
A man-eater, that Irene Cordoni, Buckley, Krause. You take your leave, slightly reluctant, but you take your leave. You figure you've done your bit, and you've got your own work to attend to. Like pulling open the office window and letting the air in and looking over the mail. But you detour to pick up the papers at Krause's. But Krause's newsstand is closed. So you're on your white horse again, making for Krause's apartment.
Come in, Mr. Chambers. Just got back myself.
Where have you been, Mr. Krause?
A funeral.
Funeral?
The old lady, Regina Kent. You must have known the old lady.
Regina Kent, her funeral?
Yeah.
Well, look, you can't take that so hard. She must have been past 90 years of age. Death must come, Mr. Krause, sooner or later.
Sure, but not by murder.
Murder? The old lady? Look, you're not making sense, Mr. Krause.
It is sense. I wish it wasn't.
When did it happen?
A couple of days ago. She was coming from the movies. Bang. Shot in the head.
You mean a mugger, a thief, one of those things?
Nothing was stolen. She was killed. The kind old lady killed meaningless for no reason.
Oh. She was a good friend of yours, wasn't she, Mr. Krause?
Yes. 20 years she is a customer. And many evenings we talk and talk for hours. A fine, wonderful old lady.
And rich, too. Reputed to be worth, maybe $500,000.
The richest, my boy, is in the heart.
Well, it doesn't hurt in the pocketbook either.
That is true, too.
Wait a minute. You're not quite as impractical as you sound. Didn't you once tell me that you recommended a lawyer to her? If she didn't think you had a practical side, she wouldn't have asked your advice for a lawyer.
Yes. It's a long time ago. Recommended my son-in-law, Frank Buckley. Oh. And she was very satisfied. Remained his client all the way till now.
And what about your problem, Mr. Krause?
Problems? Me?
Well, last night.
Crazy people, crackpots. Somebody must be making a mistake.
Now, look, you're not going back to work, are you?
Sure, I'm not afraid, Mr. Chambers, not at all. And do not worry. You see?
Oh.
I carry, how do you call it, the neutralizer. I have it from the first voyage.
And you're not going to talk to the cops about it?
No. Do not worry about old Krause. You are a good, kind man, Mr. Chambers.
So the good, kind man starts minding his own business. You go to the office and pull up the window and let the air in and read your mail. Then you listen to the ball game. Then you call downtown to headquarters to Detective Lieutenant Parker, but they tell you he's out of town and won't be back until 10 in the evening. Client falls in and you're busy for the rest of the day, and pretty soon it's nighttime after 10, and you're at headquarters because that Krause thing is buzzing around in your head like it's a beehive.
Well, always a pleasure, Mr. Private Eye. You bring the breath of springtime into this dank old office, or is that the breath of scotch?
Detective Lieutenant Louis Parker, aces all the way. Good friend, good cop, good companion.
Well, seriously, Pete, you look a little worried. Something I can do for you?
Maybe.
Just tell Papa Parker anything to get the creases out of your forehead.
Old man Krause.
Guy owns the newsstand up your way?
Yeah, has he got anything to fret about?
Well, like what?
Big Benny Larson or his goons?
No, not a thing. Snuff-nosed Angelina was a rabbit, afraid to sign a complaint. Puts Big Benny in the clear, and Benny's not looking to make trouble for the old man. Benny makes trouble only when he has to.
Mm-hmm. That's one worry off my mind.
Oh, you got more?
Got a little curiosity.
Fire away, friend.
Regina Kent.
Oh. Little old dame, 90 years of age, gets knocked off with a bullet in her brain, and strictly a professional job. Real peculiar deal.
Has it got any angles?
No, not yet it ain't. Unless you call bafflement an angle.
Well, you got an idea about the torpedo?
We got better than that. Got a full and perfect description.
Now, what's holding you back?
Haven't got anybody that fits the full and perfect description. This is confidential, Pete.
Of course, Louis.
We got a witness to that Regina Kent killing that nobody knows about, not even the newspapers. Lady by the name of Benson.
Benson?
She was sitting in her bedroom. It was dark. She couldn't sleep. Happens to have the next apartment to this Regina Kent.
She saw our torpedo?
Saw him clear and saw him long. He was hanging around for quite a time waiting for the old lady. Mrs. Benson kept watching him. Then when Regina Kent appeared, she saw the actual shooting, saw him jump into a car and drive off.
And she looked over your rogues gallery?
Looked over everything. Most cooperative. Furnished us a full description, ready to identify the guy whenever we pick him up.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear that description, Louis.
Well, he's a good-looking boy, about 6 feet tall.
Parker talks and your heart starts rapping at your chest like a fist on a door, because what you're listening to is a perfect description of the dancer. I wonder they can't find a guy to fit the description. This is a Chicago guy, and a guy who was never arrested, never printed, never mugged.
What are you getting excited about, Petey?
Stick around, pal.
Why?
I may be of some help.
So why should I stick around? Why shouldn't I go with you?
Because that's the way I wanted this trip.
Oh, the private eye and his various moods. Okay, Detective, I stick around. What do I stick around for?
Phone call. From me.
Like a little more dope.
I'd love a little more dope.
Your friend Krause. He's going to be rich.
That's the second time I've heard that.
This time it's authentic. Regina Kent made a will. She leaves all her dough to charity except $200,000. Now, guess who gets that?
I give up.
Old man Krause, yeah. 200,000 solid smackers. But remember, it's still confidential. The will ain't been probated yet. We got to see it on police business.
See, there's got to be a lawyer.
Huh?
Who made that will for her? Who was a lawyer?
A guy by the name of Frank Buckley.
That's it. Goodbye, Louis.
Hey, what's your hurry? Where are you going? Hey, Pete.
So, back to 57th Street. You rouse Frank Buckley out of his dreams, and you set him up on the facts. He tries to make with the legal palaver, but you shake him out of it, and finally you throw him the jackpot question. Did your wife know about Regina Kent's will?
Well,
Answer me, Mr. Buckley.
Yes. I told her when the old lady originally made the will. I thought it'd please her to know that someday her foster father... After all, she was my wife then. We were living together, husband and wife.
Next stop, Eastburn Apartments. And the lady herself answers. She's wearing tight silk slacks and a tight silk blouse. And she's still got a drink in her hands. We shove in before she got a chance to shove you out. Easy. You asked me to come back, remember?
Oh.
You said you'd be expecting me?
Well, you're a little premature, sweetie. Right now, I'm expecting my future husband.
The dancer, huh? Well, he sent me with a message.
Messages. He's due her any minute, and he sends... Hey, how do you know about the dancer? What are you doing here anyway?
Catching up with a little hunk of murder?
Get out. Get out.
Relax, lady.
You get out before I fling this glass at you.
You'll fling what?
Oh.
She misses, but it gives you the excuse to do what you were going to do anyway. You clip her under the chin. Not too hard, just enough. And she sighs and slides to the floor. Then you go into action with the adhesive bit. The underworld teaches the upper world a lot of little tricks. You find the tape in the medicine cabinet and you wrap her wrists behind her, tie her ankles tight and put a gag across her mouth. You carry her to the bedroom and lock the door, and then you're back in the living room and you're waiting for a murderer. You open the door for the dancer and you hit him first. And you pull him in afterwards. Then you take his gun away from him and you slap him back to consciousness. What? Come on there.
What's going on here?
Nothing except a little chit-chat before you get hauled off.
Hauled off where?
First, police headquarters. And after that, there's a hot little chair up at Sing Sing.
Why, you...
Careful, fella, careful. You're looking at your own gun. And I take it it's loaded.
Who the devil are you?
I'm a busybody by the name of Chambers. Nemesis to you.
What's it all about?
1, the murder of an old lady, Regina Kent. 2, the attempted murder of old man Krause.
You're nuts.
I got a witness by the name of Benson, says I ain't.
Why should I want to bump an old woman?
All right, let me tell you. A doll by the name of Irene Cordoni shows up in Chicago a few months ago. She goes for good-looking guys, and you're a good-looking guy. You're also a hard guy, and she makes you a proposition.
Like what?
Like this. She knows from her former husband that an old lady made a will leaving 200,000 clams to old man Krause. Krause happens to be this doll's foster father. He's got no other family but her. So if the old dame, Regina Kent, if she dies, old man Krause gets 200,000. But if after that he dies, dear old Irene Cordoni Krause, she inherits from him. So the doll propositions the dancer. Knock the two of them off in that order. First the old dame, then the old man, then the doll and the dancer get married. And they live pretty good. And they can pay their rent for quite a while with $200,000.
Yeah, good story, but go prove it. Don't start bullying me about no Benson who's a witness.
I'm bullying you, kiddo. Sure I'm bullying you. Let me show you how I'm bullying you. See? First you pull the phone over like so. Then you dial O for operator like so. Then you say like so into the phone. Police, quickly. And so, a few days later, you're back at Krause's newsstand.
You see, Mr. Chambers, I do not wear the gun anymore.
Well, there's no need. And I see by your papers that the grand jury's already indicted those two.
First-degree murder. People are so crazy.
You, going to retire on that 200,000?
Me retire? I die. No. Maybe a few vacations, perhaps. But Krause works. Krause loves to work. By the way, Mr. Chambers, there will be a fee for you. Certainly you did fine work. You will send a bill, eh?
No.
Send a large.
No bill, Mr. Krause. This one was on the house.
tired. Think I'll take the News and Mirror and so to bed.
With the News and Mirror?
And there you've had Crime and Peter Chambers. Dane Clark was starred as Peter Chambers. Crime and Peter Chambers Transcribed was created and written by Henry King. Others in the cast were Bill Zuckert, heard as Lieutenant Parker, Guy Repp as Krause, and Rita Lynn as Irene. It was directed by Fred Way. And this is Fred Collins inviting you to tune in next week, same time, same station, for Dane Clark in Crime and Peter Chambers.
This is Eddie Cantor, and if I may, I'd like to take a moment here to remind you about my weekly show business show. Every Thursday evening on most of the same NBC radio stations, I open my memory book and take a look into the world of show people. Not only do I talk about the great and wonderful old-timers in show business, I also tell you the intimate stories that surround the stars of today. And you'll hear some of their famous recordings, too. Recordings from the early 1900s and recordings from this very year. For old and new alike combined to make show business your business. And so I like to tell you about their lives, and I do, during my weekly show business show. Won't you listen every week on the NBC Radio Network? This is Eddie Cantor reminding you and hoping you'll be in the audience.